Alrighty then. I think we live. I think we live. Peace, love, harmony, and light. My brothers and sisters, how y'all feeling? Man, I'm back with another great build. Let us make sure we got audio. Y'all. All right, good. We got audio. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to get into this live feed right here. All right. Do me a favor, if you don't mind. You could share the link on your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whichever way, you share information. This is going to be a beautiful build as usual. All right. Halito, peace and love, peace and love. What it is. Let me just clean my nails a little bit. I don't want to put up my nails and people be like, hey, Chief, y'all seen Chief Kalanago nails? People be talking, man. I tell you, boy. It's like focus on the information, man, not my nails. You know what I mean? I was raking, doing some yard work yesterday, clean up, but the nails, still a little, from the dirt. I'm on the land, so that's expected, all right? So don't mind that. Hey, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love to each and every one of y'all. All right, so we're about to get into a deep build right now. Because I've gotten a few emails, from people, asking information. And I tell people, hey, I don't give legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I don't practice law, but I know law. You feel me? And there is nothing wrong in me assisting my fellow men and women, especially American Aboriginals. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But I'm going to put some things in perspective. And even before I begin that, let me just give thanks to the Great Spirit, the I Am. Give thanks to my ancestors. Give thanks to my spiritual guides, my spiritual parents, my physical parents, once again, my father passed April 26th. So I'm wishing him all the best in his journey. And I'm continuously asking him to, guide me, you know what I mean? Give me some guidance, be my guide, so to speak, in that realm when I step into that realm. You know what I mean? Peace and love to each and every one of you stepping into the live feed right now. But I felt it when I first told you guys I may do another video. I wasn't sure what it was about. But a couple of people reached out, via email. And one of the brothers that I called back, actually, he was going through a situation where he was actually in the process of working on correcting his political status. And a lot of people get caught up in that paradigm, not knowing exactly what it means, what to do, what steps to take. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do right now, to the best of my ability, I'm going to make an attempt to explain a lot of things, all right? Give a lot of information so that you would have a better understanding as to what you need to do, because the brother did some things already, but he's caught in a situation like a lot of people. What they do is they go, and I'm not throwing jabs. I'm just telling you based on the experience that I've had. A lot of people hit me up after they have listened to other people's videos and they have taken certain steps, and then they get stuck. All right, because the people that they get the information from, they don't have all the information. Okay, so they just give them bits and pieces, and then when you try to contact them via email, they never respond. And to me, that is everybody's prerogative. If you want to reach out to people, hey, peace and love, twin sisters. All right, if you want to reach out to people when they send you an email, that's on you. You have free will. You don't have to respond. But for me, I look at it this way. If we put ourselves in the public eye like that, and we put ourselves in a position where we are actually educating our people, uplifting the people, to a certain extent, some people may call us teachers, right? And some people may even call us leaders. But no, I don't want to be nobody's leader. I want us to walk together. I always say that, all right? I am not the leader. We are walking together and we are assisting each other. But the problem with a lot of these people is they give you information and they give you half the information. All right. They give you a little bit of information because they don't know. the full detail of the information, because what they are doing is they go listen to other people's videos and they regurgitate the information, not knowing the proper steps to take. So when these people reach out to them via email, they don't respond. It's not that they don't want to respond, it's because they cannot assist you. They don't know how to assist you. All right. They don't know what else to do except for what information they got from somebody else's video. You feel me? So that's what a lot of people are dealing with. And I'm not going to call any names. I just know it's happening. So for me, I feel because I put myself in that position, I feel I have an obligation when the people send me an email to respond. You feel me? I guarantee you, and I'm saying I guarantee, if you talk to 100 people and 100 of them send me emails, I have returned the email for at least 97 of them. And that's facts. Okay? Anybody else could call me out on that. So to me, that's, man, listen, that's almost 100%. And the people I haven't responded to is probably because I didn't get the email, or the email was lost in spam for whatever reason. Or maybe I was too caught up, doing other things, and I just happened to kind of just miss that person and didn't get a chance to hit them up. And when they hit me up again, I responded. But I always respond to emails, because what's the point of coming to give people information, letting them know, man, this is serious business. That, at least for me. All right. And then when they reach out to you, they can't find you. You don't answer emails. You don't return calls. So I'm just saying, man, people that's on the internet doing these things, they have to do a better job. And that is just my opinion. All right. So with that being said, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to build on authentication, because a lot of people are talking about that. We're going to talk about the license, the registration, which I have touched in a lot of videos, but I'm going to go more in detail. And we're going to talk a little bit about status correction. So the first thing we're going to talk about is authentication, because a lot of people are listening to videos, and based on the people who have actually sent me emails, and they have gotten information from people on the internet, yes, in the so-called indigenous community, right? They're getting information from them, and all they're telling them is, well, you got to authenticate your birth certificate, and then they just leave them dry. Well, what's next? All right, it's authenticated. Then what do I do? And people, I'm not gonna assume things, but based on what I'm getting is they are telling people that once you authenticate your birth certificate, then you're good. All of a sudden, you're free. They're supposed to leave you. All you could do is just get some plates, slap it on your car, or go to motor vehicles. Let them change your information in motor vehicles. Go to Social Security. Let them change your information in Social Security and all type of stuff. Man, let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna just keep it 100, because you know me. I tell people like this: if you're not looking for the truth, don't come to this channel. If you're not looking for facts, don't come to this channel. All right? If you're looking for a channel or somebody to give you information that when the information is not complete, they cannot come to you and say, you know what, brothers and sisters, man, the information I gave you yesterday, it needed some more completion. Here's some more information to it, instead of just leaving you dry. You see me? That's how I am. If I give you any type of information, that's why I tell people, prove me wrong, because if there's information that I've given you and it's not complete, please let me know, so we could research it together, and I could come back and say, hey, you know what? Boom, we need to update that information. But once again, if you're looking for an easy way out, man, listen, exactly, that's just what it is. I just want to give the truth. You see what I'm saying? And for me, if you're looking for an easy way out, no, this is the wrong channel. If you're looking for information to make you feel good, that is the wrong channel. If you're looking for a pass, this is the wrong channel. No, you have to put in work. I tell people freedom is not free. A lot of our ancestors lost their lives to gain their freedom, all right? To at least have us in the position that we're at today, where we have a choice. A lot of them didn't have a choice. So to me, this is not a game. I don't play when it comes to assisting our people. I don't, that's not a joke to me. I take that very seriously. And our people have been through too much hurt, too much fraud, man, too much, deceit. I just can't deal with that. And I just cannot be another one that's in that position, putting myself in a situation where I'm going to deceive our people. I just can't do that. It's not in my nature, period. I would rather not do no videos and just go get some land and just chill by myself. Yo, when's the last time you talked to Chief, man? I don't know, man. It's been 7 years. Because if I'm going to be on the bullshit, I would rather not be about anything, period. And that's the mindset that I got. So when I come to you to give you information, I'm making sure I'm sincere about it. I'm true about it. And one of the great things about me is when you send me an email, you could find me. Okay? First thing I do is, hey, peace and love. Because I don't like to correspond through text and email just like that, unless we have already built a relationship. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times when you send emails and you send texts, words could be misconstrued. And a lot of times the emotion behind the word may not be exactly what you're trying to put out there, but that's the way the person perceives it. So in order to prevent that type of uneasiness, what I would do when somebody send me an email, I say, do me a favor, leave your contact number and I will call you. So now we're able to build. You're able to hear my vibrations. I'm able to feel your vibrations as well. So we know we are cutting out all the bullshit. All right? We are cutting out all the games. And that's where my mind is at with that. And I'm always going to be that way. I want to build with you and see where your head is at. All right? So with that being said, we're going to talk about authentication. What does it mean? Because a lot of people think as soon as you get your birth certificate authenticated, then, man, I'm home free. I'm free. No, no, trust me. If it was that easy, everybody would have already gotten it. Brothers and sisters, we have been dealing with this situation for what, over 500 years now? Why do you think no one has really, truly figured it out? Well, that's not true. A few people did and have gained their freedom totally. Yes, there is a way, but we are all still learning the process. Even me, even as much as I know, I'm going to keep it real. I don't know everything. And not too many people will come on here and tell you they don't know everything. They want you to think they know everything. And that's a very dangerous position to put yourself in, because now you're playing with people's lives. You're playing with their children. You're playing with their families, letting these people do things that might end up where they have some type of repercussion. So I never want to put my people in that position. So I give you the facts. And when I tell you situations like, you know what, I am not going to tell you what to do, but this is what I have done. And if it were me, that's what I would do. So in other words, you make the own decision as to what you want to do for your life and your family. But make sure it resonates with you. Don't just rush into things just because somebody say, hey, you know what, man, that's how you got to free yourself. That's how you get out the beast. Let me tell you something, man. It's easy, but it's not easy. It is simple, but it's not simple. Again, it all depends on your level of knowledge and what you do. So with that being said, I'm going to start with authentication of the birth certificate. Now, authentication, there are reasons why you can authenticate your birth certificate. But first, we need to look at the definition of authentication before we even proceed. Okay? Let me share the screen real quick. And please, brothers and sisters, I'm not going to take any questions right now. Once the lecture is done, then I will do what you call it. I'll take questions, all right? Because I don't want to be in the zone and I have to stop and answer a question. Or if I don't answer the question, you think I'm ignoring you, all right? So I'm just making that statement straight off the bat, all right? Let me just make sure I go through the information. And if in between I could take a break and answer 1 or 2 questions, I will. But we have a lot of information to cover, so just bear with me here, okay? All right, I appreciate that. I still got some food in my teeth, so pardon me, all right? I know I have it. Authentication. Where do I have it? On Damn, where do I have that? That's contract. Damn, I guess I gotta go look for the definition again. But anyway, I'll open up a new because I had some windows already open. So here we go. Definition. What am I doing here? Authentication definition. All right. Let us get into that. Because like I said, man, we got to stop playing the games, man. We have to stop playing the games. This is serious business. We are playing with people's lives. And we cannot afford to just put information out there without explaining to the people and breaking it down to them. All right. And when they send you emails, you're not responding. A lot of people be doing that. All right. I don't support that type of behavior at all. Okay, so here we go. Authentication. Now, authentication, the process or action of proving or showing something to be true, genuine, or valid. Now, with that being said, if your birth certificate is a contract, if your birth certificate, once again, brothers and sisters, pay attention to what I'm saying. Make sure this sinks in. When you were born, and I've said that in many videos, but it seems like I have to be redundant in order for it to sink in. When you were born, you were born a living baby, boy or a girl. Okay? Now, that means you have not entered into the matrix just yet. People think that the matrix is once you are born. No. The matrix is not once you're born. You cannot get into the matrix without some form of consent. Brothers and sisters, pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm going to tell you exactly when you will enter into the matrix. So here you are. Your mother have a brand new baby boy or girl. Happy, tears of joy. The doctor smack you, you smile, or you smack the doctor back, whichever way it happened. All right? You arrived on earth. Now, when they come with the birth certificate for your moms, the birth certificate is only recording the event of your birth. The birth certificate is not recording your birth date. It is not recording your birth date. Your birth date is actually when the sperm meets the egg through conception. That is actually your birth date. However, your arrival on earth, what you call your birth date, is actually an event. So what they did was they gave the name. You have the legal name. They gave the name, and the name became the legal name. I'm going to repeat that. Okay? The name became the legal name. So you have the name. Your mother say, okay, you know what? I love this name for my child. I'm going to give my child, her name is going to, let's just say it's a girl. Her name is going to be Jane. And our surname is Doe, so she's going to be Jane Doe. Jane Doe is the name. However, that baby was still a living baby until the birth certificate came. And they took the sole of the feet and placed it on paper. That was the process of making you step into the paper world, which is the matrix. But it wasn't quite confirmed yet until your mother signed the birth certificate. So brothers and sisters, the only way that you got into the matrix was through a signature. So let me repeat myself. In order for the man to be born, the baby had to die. Okay? Not literally on paper, just so y'all know. So what they did was that name, the name Jane Doe, became the legal name, which is now an event. So they registered your event, not your birth date. So therefore, Jane Doe is an event. Jane Doe is not a man or a woman. It's an event that they deem a legal person. So that's what happened on the birth certificate. So now you are going all through your life telling everybody that you are Jane Doe. Everything that Jane Doe does, you are taking the responsibility, not realizing that it's not you. It's the event. The legal name is the one that's been doing everything, getting the tickets, paying the rent, paying the bills. It is the legal name that you say that you are. I hope that's making sense thus far. So if therefore the birth certificate, which was never meant to be a form of identification, and I'm going to prove that to you guys when I'm, right after this, the birth certificate wasn't created to be a form of identification. The birth certificate wasn't created for that purpose. So therefore, if the birth certificate is the foundation of all forms of identification, and it wasn't meant to be for identification, that means that everything that was done from the birth certificate is fraud. It was fraudulent. It's all voidable. So in other words, everything that was done through that birth certificate, okay, by you saying that's you, you should be able to be forgiven for your sins. Brothers and sisters, watch the allegories. You see how I'm giving you all these different allegories in the Bible with the same Bible, but all these different allegories, because those are the allegories that take place. You feel me? Those are the allegories that take place. So therefore, the birth certificate, that event, when your mother signed, it already paid for all your sins. In other words, it paid for all your debts. Because the queen has the trust, and she has hired her trustees, which is the registrar. The registrar is the trustee. If you look on your birth certificate, you'll realize that there is a signature or a name that signed the birth certificate. That person is the trustee. But when your mother signed, your mother became the debtor. So anything that name on that birth certificate does, you became responsible for it. So therefore, when you authenticate your birth certificate, all you are saying is this: a process or action of proving or showing something to be true, genuine, or valid. Just by authenticating your birth certificate, it is not going to make you free. All you're doing is authenticating the fact that your birth certificate is real. It's a real document. So if you were to ask me, all you're doing is you're solidifying that you are a legal person, in essence. But don't get me wrong. The authentication of a birth certificate, it has its perks. Only in commerce. But when you are dealing with your indigenous capacity, okay, in your indigenous capacity, authenticating your birth certificate is not the best move, my brothers and sisters. You see, you have to get a true understanding as to what's going on and what these people are telling you when they're not giving you all the information because they want to regurgitate what they hear people say. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just let people know, hey, you know what? I'm going to just keep it real. I heard this from such and such, and I'm just sharing it with you. Go do more research. I mean, it's that simple. It is that simple. Another definition: the process or action of verifying the identity of a user or a process. So when you authenticate the birth certificate, that's all you are doing. That has nothing to do with you being free. It doesn't mean you all of a sudden you could take a license plate and go slap it on your car, and then when the police stop you, hey, you know what? Check my birth certificate is authenticated. No, they will slap your ass with a ticket. And if you try to put up a fight, you might get shot for resisting arrest. Okay? I'm letting you guys know that this is serious business. That's why I don't take it as a joke. Okay? If you come to me and you ask me something, if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. Period. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to give you my opinions. If I've experienced something, I will let you know what my experience was or the steps that I have taken. But I have done so much and I still have more to do. So brothers and sisters, it is not an overnight thing. You feel me? Everybody's looking for this quick microwave effect, and I don't like using the term patience, but I'm going to use it for conversation's sake. Nobody wants to have patience. All right? You have been so-called enslaved on paper for at least 400 years. I'm just saying, right? Or whenever the birth certificate was instituted. You have been a slave for that long. And you have millions of people in the United States. And over 99% of them haven't figured this out. Why do you think you could just come all of a sudden and overnight it's done? Oh man, you know what? I just want to do my paperwork and do it. No, it doesn't work that way, man. There is levels to this. There is steps to this. Don't get me wrong. It can be done and it has been done. But we have a lot more work to do than just authenticating the birth certificate. All right. So just to reiterate, when you authenticate your birth certificate, it doesn't mean that you are free. All it means is that you are validating. Somebody is validating that this instrument, this document is genuine and it's true. So now you are actually solidifying that you are that piece of property. That's what you are doing. But of course, it has its perks because now you are the beneficiary because there was a trust that was set up in that name, in that legal name, so to speak. All right. So I hope we make that clear in terms of the authentication. Now we're gonna look. Let us find out. Is the birth certificate a form of identification? Identification. Let us look at that here. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm showing you the facts. Now, if you want to inject your opinion, that's on you. All right, but I'm giving you the facts. Now, the birth certificate is the initial identification document issued to parents shortly after the birth of their child. Okay, by itself, the birth certificate is usually only considered proof of citizenship, but not proof of what? Identity. Right here. Since it is issued without a photograph at a birth containing no identifying features. All right. So here I am proving that point to you again. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read it again. The birth certificate is an initial identification document issued to parents shortly after the birth of their child. By itself, the birth certificate is usually only considered proof of citizenship, but not proof of identity. So therefore, how can you use your birth certificate, right? How can you use your birth certificate to prove that's you, that's your identity when it wasn't meant for that? So therefore, every form of identification is actually fraudulent because the birth certificate is the basic foundation of all identity. So you see in law why there is no such thing as failure to identify. You dig? Now, I'm going to prove that to you again. If you were to be traveling in your car, your vehicle, whatever you want to call it, let's say, you know what, driving for conversation's sake. You are driving and the police pull you over and they ask you for your identification and all you did was present your birth certificate. What do you think is going to happen? How is the officer going to prove that's you? Here we go again. I just proved to you that your birth certificate is not a form of identification. Without a photograph at birth, containing no identifying features. So brothers and sisters, a photograph and a signature, they are called biometric markers. Biometric markers. Let's see if we could pull that up. All right. Biometric markers. All right. Biometric verification is any means by which a person can be uniquely identified by evaluating one or more distinguishing biological traits. Unique identifiers include fingerprints, hand geometry, your earlobe, Do you know that? Okay, let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all some things y'all probably don't know. Do you know that the government could literally look at your ears, okay, and take a scan of your earlobes to identify you? Did you know that? Do you know that they don't necessarily need your DNA? They don't necessarily need your fingerprint. All they have to do is scan from a photograph or a camera and scan your earlobes. And everybody, that's a biometric identifier. That's how much technology they got. Hand geometry, your retina, your iris patterns, all right, your voice waves, your DNA, and signatures. But the most common too is a picture and your signatures. So those are called biometric identifiers or verification or markers. So your birth certificate is not a biometric instrument because it doesn't have a picture. All right. And then there could be an autograph on there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yours. So therefore, it is the foundation of all identification, but it's not a form of identification. So therefore, every ID that was created from the birth certificate, because of the birth certificate, it means it was done in fraud. There's no such thing as failure to identify. So how can you authenticate the birth certificate to say it's you? It is not you. Or they are verifying that that is their document and it's a legit document. So just know that, okay? They don't have to get your DNA to identify you. They don't need your fingerprints to identify you. All they need you is on camera, and they could get what you call your earlobe geometry. And every single being on earth, earlobe geometry is different. Just in case y'all didn't know, I'm putting y'all on to some new things right now. All right. So when people will say, well, oh, well, don't do DNA this and don't do, because they're going to do this if your DNA, man, listen, they could do anything. Anything. They already have your DNA. You were born in a hospital. What are you talking about? They already got your DNA on file. No, I'm not saying carelessly just go ahead and just give people your DNA. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is they already got your DNA on file. You better believe that. And if they're going to use it for malicious behaviors, believe me, they would have already done so. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out. So now that we have gone through authentication, and I have proven to you that the birth certificate is not a form of identification, and I have explained to you what biometric verification is, or markers. So therefore, your signature is what brought you into the matrix. Now, seeing that you couldn't sign for yourself, your mother or father did it for you. So it was done without your free and prior consent. So therefore, anything that was done underneath this event, which is your name, Jane Doe, you should be forgiven for that, all your iniquities that was done underneath that name. Because your mother already paid the price when she signed and put you in the matrix. I hope I am making sense thus far. I hope I'm making sense. May I proceed? Now, at this time, if if you have one or two questions, anything wasn't clear based on what I've said, I will take one or two questions. But if everything is straight to the point, then I would like to continue because we have a lot to go over. All right. We have a lot to go over. All right. All right. So in the meantime, let me go to something else. Now, seeing that we are talking about authentication here, I showed you exactly what that means. What does that mean? You cannot just authenticate your birth certificate and say, I'm free. No. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. All right. Now, there are situations where you could use your birth certificate, all right, to do certain things. Because like I said, the birth certificate is a bond. And if with that bond came a trust. And with that trust came a beneficiary, and you are the beneficiary. So if you know the process of using it to discharge debts or to pay for certain things, then all that stuff is lawful. You are able to do that, but you have to know the hows. Okay, so I'm just going to put it that way. All right. Now, once again, I'm not giving advice. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm giving you the knowledge. All right. I'm not telling you what to do. Here we go. What is status correction? What is status correction? Because a lot of people just go around using the word. Well, you know, we all have a basic understanding of what status correction is. So let me just give a general idea of what it is. Okay? The problem with the record must be corrected. The problem with the record must be corrected. So in essence, what am I saying? There is a record. All right. Well, first, let us look at the definition of record, because when you see we are studying, all right, we have to make sure that we know exactly what we are talking about. I tell people when I explain things and I break things down, I want to make sure that it's done with clear understanding. All right. Definition record of the definition of record. Okay, I don't want to give an example. I just want the definition. I don't want an example. Give me the definition. Record. Oh, come on, man. All right, here we go. Record. A thing, let me just open that up a little bit. A thing constituting a piece of evidence about the past, especially an account of an act or occurrence kept in writing or some other permanent form. I'm going to read that again. All right, I'm going to read that again. A thing constituting a piece of evidence about the past, especially an account of an act or occurrence kept in writing or some other permanent form. Number two, a sum of past achievements or actions of a person or organization, a person or thing's previous conduct or performance. So as you could see, it's dealing with the past. Okay? Records are dealing with the past. We could say that that is a word that is in there, the past. So now when we look at status correction, it says the problem with the record. In other words, the problem with the past. The past, what you have on file is in the past, must be what? Corrected. Corrected. So it was something that was done in the past that needs to be corrected. Now, I don't think we have to go look at the definition of corrected or to correct, make amends. All right. Now it reads, whether it involves the feature geometry or attribution, once the record has been corrected, it can be updated with the correction information, which includes the status and correction notes. Status and correction notes. The status is the correction status, which can be resolved or marked as exception. So I hope that makes sense. In essence, what your political, or how would I put it? How did I phrase that word? Status correction. What essentially status correction is? It is a record that must be corrected. And a record is of something in the past. So therefore, they all have a record on each and every one of us. It first started from the birth certificate. That was the first record where they recorded the event of your birth. And since then, you have been living your life under what's called a lie, where you think that you are that person on the birth certificate, not realizing that it's a legal fiction, not realizing that it's not a real person, not realizing it was just an event. Are we clear on this so far? Are we good? Are we clear on this so far? Can I proceed? I just want to make sure everybody get this. Let me know if y'all got this, all right? Let me see if I already went over this record. Yes, I did record. Status correction. I did status correction. All right, beautiful. Are we good to go? I want to make sure we good. Well, I'm going to assume we good. Now, the next one we're going to look at is contract, which we have already gone through already, but in light of what we're discussing, I think contract is also one of the key phrases or words that we need to go over as well. Okay? Contract. A contract, one, a written or spoken agreement. So what happened? Okay, it could be either written or spoken. So we are going to deal with the written aspect of things. That contract, a covenant, a commitment, an arrangement, a settlement, an understanding, a compact, a bond. So our parents, your mother, okay, your mother created a bond with the people who provided the birth certificate to her. It was a contract. And in order for that contract to be valid, she had to put her biometric marker on there, which at that time she put her signature on there. So now that document became binding. So it was a written contract at that time, a written agreement, especially one concerning employment, sales, or tenancy that is intended to be enforceable by law. But now we are not dealing with law. We are dealing with what we call statutory law. We're not dealing with natural law. Okay? So now if you're having your baby and you go into a hospital, they want to force you into that contract, which they're not supposed to. But they're telling you that's the law. However, it is statutory law. Because when you are their slaves, you are their subjects. You have a right to abide by their rules. Okay? So that is the contract that was entered into. Now, let us look at the definition of subject. And mind you, no one could force you into a contract. And if they do, that contract is voidable because it was done through coercion. It was fraudulent, and there was no free and prior consent of the details of that contract. So everything that was done in that so-called name from that birth certificate is voidable. I hope y'all are paying attention. You're gonna have to use your head to figure out the rest, because I could only teach you how to fish. I'm not gonna fish for you. All right, period. You want me to fish for you, you gotta pay me, because I'm already giving you all the information. All right. We're looking at subject. A subject, one, a person or thing that is being discussed, described, or dealt with. A branch of knowledge studied or taught in a school, college. I think I may have to look at the legal definition of that, because condition, appearance, typically unaware, unpleasant, defendant, or conditional upon. Conditionally upon, cause to force, undergo. All right, so here we kind of get into it. But let me just look at let me see. You know what? Here we go all the way. Bring a person or a country under one's control or jurisdiction, typically by force. You see, there we go. We got to go all the way down. We can't look at the first one. You see, right there. So that's who you are. A subject, which is bring a person or a country under one's control or jurisdiction, typically using force. So when your mother signed that contract, she put her biometric marker on that bond, she created a covenant with the people who gave her that birth certificate. Hence, making you a subject of their jurisdiction. So you have an obligation to your slave master, unless you are able to say, hey, I am going to correct my political status. I hope this is making sense thus far. Now, Let us go look at so we already look at political status. We already look at subject. We're gonna look at Frederick Douglass, because Frederick Douglass were one of the people that were able to free himself. Now let us just get a brief history on how he was able to achieve that. Now it may be a little bit different, or they may not have gone in detail as to exactly all the things he did, but there is a synopsis of what went through or what transpired. Okay, Frederick, and that is from the History Channel. Frederick Douglass escaped slavery. Over 175 years after the escape of Frederick Douglass from slavery, look back at how the famed abolitionist became a free man. All right. Never had Frederick Douglass been so nervous. The butterflies in his stomach fluttered when every bounce of the carriage over Baltimore's cobblestone streets as he approached the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad station. The slave, then known by his birth name of Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. All right, you hear his name? His birth name. I'm going to repeat that. His birth name, Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey, was embarking on a perilous journey with New York and freedom, his intended destinations. After Douglass's attempt to escape slavery 2 years prior was betrayed by a fellow slave, of course, it's going to always take one of us to sell you out, right? To the master. Guess what? Nothing new under the sun. It's happening here today. He had been jailed, sent to Baltimore by his master, and hired out to work in the city's shipyards. So, my brothers and sisters, slavery is freedom is not free. The man went to jail for 2 years because you know what? Another brother sold him out, or another sister sold him out, another slave. Okay? It is not free. A lot of us have to go to jail. Okay? A lot of our ancestors got killed for this freedom that we are seeking. And half of y'all don't even want to pay $200-300 to get your shit together, much less go to jail for 2-3 years. So that's how I know a lot of y'all ain't serious about this. Okay, y'all talking about it, but y'all ain't serious about it. And that's just my opinion. So like I said, facts over feelings. If I'm rubbing you ruffling your feathers, man, hey, if the cap fit, go ahead and wear it. But anyway, after Douglass's attempt to escape slavery 2 years prior was betrayed by a fellow slave. He had been jailed and sent to Baltimore by his master and hired to work in the city's shipyards. Undeterred, you hear that? Undeterred. In other words, I wasn't giving up. I'm going to be free by any means necessary. Undeterred, Douglass vowed to try to escape again on September 3rd, 1838, although he knew the risk. Okay? Although he knew the risk. That's why I say, man, the spirit of our ancestors back in those days, a lot of our people right now, they don't have that spirit in them. They have been too watered down. They have become weak. All right? They are living in fear. That is the problem. I felt assured that if I failed this attempt, my case would be a hopeless one, he wrote in his autobiography. It would seal my fate as a slave forever. And a lot of y'all are going to be slaves forever because you don't want to step up and handle your business. Douglass disguised himself as a free black sailor. So apparently there had to have been free black sailors, because the only way to disguise yourself as a free black slave, as a free black sailor, is only if they had already existed. So that means he disguised himself as one. A credible ruse, given the nautical knowledge he gained from working on the waterfront. The slave also knew that the difference shown to sailors in a seafaring city such as Baltimore could work to his benefit. He donned a red shirt and sailor's hat and loosely knotted a black cravat around his neck. Into his pocket, the slave stuffed a sailor's protection pass, which he could present in lieu of his free papers. His what? His free papers. Brothers and sisters, this is how you free yourself with your papers, by correcting your political status with your papers. Let me ask you a question. Do you have the ammunition to go up and fight war to gain your freedom? How many of y'all are vibrating in your higher self to use your spiritual abilities? Well, guess what? Here's the next best thing. You have to use your papers to free yourself. The pen is mightier than the sword. That railroad officials required black passengers to carry as proof they were not enslaved. And guess what? History will surely repeat itself, because they will be eventually. I just have a feeling this is going to come back again. And if you don't have your documents in place, guess what? That ass is grass. I'm going to just leave it that way. Douglas had borrowed the document from a free African-American seaman, but he bore little resemblance to the physical description detailed on the piece of paper. Close examination by a railroad official or any authority would reveal the subterfuge and imperil both Douglas and his friend. So you hear, you see, that's what you mean. I am my brother's keeper. You see, a lot of our people have lost that attribute. He looked out for his brother. He gave him his documents and said, go ahead, brother, do your thing. I wish you all the best. How many of y'all would have done that for your brother or your sister? Anyway, to avoid the scrutinizing eyes of the ticket agent inside the station, Douglas waited and jumped on the moving train at the last moment. And as it began to puff its way north, many minutes passed before the conductor finally entered the segregated passenger car bearing the train's African-American riders. Although Douglas remained calm on the outside, his heart pounded as the conductor carefully inspected the passengers' free papers. Let me ask you a question. Where are your free papers at? My whole future depended upon the decision of this conductor, he wrote. Finally, the railroad official came to Douglas and said, Douglas is said, I suppose you have your free papers, he asked. No, sir, I never carry my free papers to sea with me, the slave said, but you have something to show that you are a free man, have you not? The conductor queried. Yes, sir. I have a paper with the American eagle on it. That will carry me around the world. You hear that? That will carry me around the world, Douglas responded. So my brothers and sisters, after you have corrected your status, you should be able to travel around the world as a free man or woman. Okay? The slave pulled the document out of his pocket, and the eyes of the conductor were drawn to the authoritative eagle emblazoned on the top rather than the erroneous physical description. After a quick glance, the conductor collected Douglas's fear and continued to back off the rail car. Had the conductor looked closely at the paper Douglas wrote, he could have not failed to discover that it called for a very different looking person from myself. Douglas' anxiety did not totally fade along with the conductor's footsteps. However, he remained subject to arrest at any moments as the trains passed through the slave states of Maryland and Delaware. The faster trains speed, the slower it seemed to drag to the fleeing slave. Minutes were hours, and hours were days during this part of my fight, he wrote. In addition, Douglas' cover was newly blown on multiple occasions. The trip required the fugitive slave to cross the Susquehanna River by ferry, and on board was an old acquaintance who began to ask probing questions about his journey before Douglas could break away. Then, boarding a northbound train across the river, Douglas looked through the window of another train stopped on the track and spotted a white ship captain for whom he had recently worked. The captain's gaze never fixed on the slave, but the eyes of the German blacksmith whom Douglas knew did fall upon him. The blacksmith looked at Douglas intently, but never called him out to the railroad officials. All right? But it's funny that it was one of his own brothers who sold him out the first time, and he went to jail for 2 years, right? I'm just saying, like I told y'all before, it's not about the color of your skin. All right? The people, not everybody who looks like you is for you. I really believed he knew me, Douglas wrote, but I had not heart to betray me. In spite of the obstacles, Douglas arrived safely in New York less than 24 hours after leaving Baltimore. Although on free soil, Douglas was not legally a free man. Packs of slave catchers roamed the streets of New York searching for fugitives. Anti-slavery activist David Ruggles sheltered Douglas until his intended wife, a free black housekeeper named Anna Morey, arrived from Baltimore. The afternoon following their nuptials, Douglas and his new bride set off to safer refuge in New Bedford, Massachusetts. There, he began his life as an abolitionist, a crusader. To better conceal his identity from slave catchers, the escaped slave changed his last name from Bailey to Douglas. His supporters eventually raised enough money for Douglas to purchase his liberty and became a free man in the eyes of the law. Okay? So within the eyes of the law, you are still a slave. Within the eyes of the law, you are still that legal fiction on paper. And that's what it means to correct your political status. So in the eyes of the law, you are not considered their property. You are not considered their citizen. You are not considered a ward of the state. You feel me? And they have no right to prevent you from doing that. As long as you are following the proper channels and you are doing it lawfully, you have every single right to do so. And even more so, we are indigenous, we have a right to self-identify. So we have many things working in our favor. All right? Now, when Douglas published his autobiography in 1845, he divulged few details about his escape in order to protect those who abated him and to keep authorities ignorant of the method he employed to sleep the bonds of slavery. It was not until 1881 that he finally detailed his escape. Douglas always looked back on September 3rd, 1838 as the day when his free life began. And for the rest of his life, he celebrated the date in place of his unknown birthday. Okay? Now, I just love that story. Yes, that's right. Today's slave catcher is the police. So nothing has changed. All right? Brothers and sisters, there is nothing new under the sun. All right? Now, let us proceed. Let us proceed. Here we go. The United States of America is a corporation. I have showed you guys that on many occasions, but the United States has a Dun and Bradstreet. The United States is a baby company to a company in England, London. Okay? Now, this is from a site, the journal johnhenryhill.wordpress and United States of America Corporation listing, all right, showing you that the United States is a corporation. Of course, that's in the US code. It is showing you all that. All right, here we go. The United States of America is a British corporation, like I've told y'all before. The United States America did not win its independence. That was a facade. It was a trick that was played on the people. The United States of America is a British corporation based in Edinburgh, Scotland. It is the parent company of the United States of America sub-corporations in America under the various names, which it changes on ongoing basis by reincorporating itself or reincorporating them. The company was first incorporated within America in 1868 in the state of Delaware as a private company and seized control of the what? The District of Columbia when Congress passed the District of Columbia Act of 1871. Now, please view all images closely and verify or disprove. That's on you. Do your own research and prove me wrong. All right? Let us click on that. Here we go. The United States, their file number is right here. Okay, let me show it to you. The United States of America Corporation, this is the file number, 2025923. Also, you have the United States of America Inc. The file number is 2193946. Then you have the United States of America again Inc. Okay, 4525683. So you have the United States of America Inc., you have United States of America Inc., and you have United States of America Corporation. Okay? The United States is a corporation, brothers and sisters. All righty. Now, let me go back here. So that is just showing you all the listings of the corporation, you know, United States, whatever, incorporated, the name of the company, when it was incorporated. You have all this stuff right here. So you could do your own research and see, okay? Name and registered office, the United States of America Limited, the White House, 78 Montgomery Street, Ebensburg, Lothian, Scotland, EH7 5JA, company number SC380798. And the status is what? Active. And the last time that was checked was date of incorporation 22/06/2010. Company type private limited company. Nature of business SIC, whatever the hell that means. All right? And you have 9900 extraterritorial organizations, 9999 dormant company. All right, a dormant company, meaning that it's asleep. All right. So if y'all don't want to realize what's going on, y'all better recognize. So we speak of the District of Columbia. Let us go and look at the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia. The District of Columbia. Let me click on that. Let's do a little reading. So I'm showing you what you're a corporation of, all right? What you are actually a citizen of. The District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871 is an act of Congress that repealed, repealed the individual charters of the cities of Washington and Georgetown and established a new territorial government for the District of Columbia, okay? Though Congress repealed the territorial government in 1874, the legislation was the first to create a single municipal government for the federal district, the District of Columbia. All right, let us click on that. Here we are. Washington, D.C., formerly the District of Columbia and commonly referred to as Washington or D.C., is the capital of the United States, founded after the American Revolution as seat of government of newly independent country. Washington, come on, man. Washington was named after George Washington, first president of the United States and founding father. Washington is the principal city of the Washington metropolitan area, which has a population of 6,131,977 people. As the seat of the United States federal government and several international organizations, the city is an important world political capital. Washington is the one of the most visited cities in the world, with more than 20 million annual tourists. The signing of the Residence Act of July 1790 approved the creation of the Capital District located along the Potomac River on the country's east coast. The U.S. Constitution provided a federal district under the exclusive jurisdiction of Congress, and the district is therefore not part of any state. You hear that? The district is not part of any state. I'm going to read that again. The district is not part of any state. So when you call yourself a what? A United States what? Citizen, you are only a citizen of the District of Columbia. You are a citizen of the corporation, brothers and sisters. All right? The states of Maryland and Virginia each donated land to form the federal district, which included the pre-existing settlements of Georgetown and Alexandria. The city of Washington was founded in 1791 to serve as the new national capital. In 1846, Congress returned the land originally ceded by Virginia. In 1871, it created a single municipal government for the remaining portion of the district. All right, need I read more? I don't need to read more to prove my point of what I'm saying. Okay? So when you call yourself a citizen of the United States, you are saying that you are a baby corporation. And that's what the birth certificate is validating. It is validating that event that was created, that you say it's you. That's what's going on. Okay? Now, let us look at the definition of charter. Okay? A charter. All this is relevant. A charter, a written grant by a country's legislative or sovereign power. Power by which an institution such as a company, a college, or a city is created and its rights and privileges are defined. So, with that being said, when our ancestors, okay, wrote the original charters with this so-called Moors, all right, the deal was we were supposed to remain autonomous. What does that mean? Let us look at the definition of autonomous. Let us look at the definition of autonomous. Definition of autonomous. Autonomous. Of a country region having self-government at least to a significant degree, acting independently or having the freedom to do so. Okay? That was the deal with these dark-skinned men who came to our land, and we created these charters with them. The deal was we were supposed to remain autonomous. That was the deal. But they betrayed us once again. May I reiterate? They betrayed us. And once again, I'm going to prove to you that Moors are not aboriginals to the Americas. I'm going to prove that to you again. Let me go to some documents, because you see me, I like to show and prove. I don't just like to talk about it. I got the documents right here. Bam. Let's get into it. Okay? Let's get into it. And I'm showing y'all documents. Man, hold up. Why did I this thing just How did you just flip like that all of a sudden? Let's see. Nope. And what the hell? How do I rotate this? All of a sudden this thing just flipped on me like what? Give me a second here, guys. I know I'm supposed to be able to rotate this. Okay. Give me a second here, right? All right, click to pan. All right, that's to pan the document. Come on, man, where's the rotation at? What is this? That is the size. Full view. What is this? Move page, man. Something happened. I touched something, and all of a sudden, the document just flipped on me, man. What's up with that, yo? Brothers and sisters, give me a second here, please. All right, let me just figure this out. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a second, and you guys go ahead and do what you got to do for now. I know you guys are building, so give me a second. Let me just straighten this out. All right. Close this out, and let me go ahead and see if I can open that again. Where did I have it? Where did I have it? All right, here we go. Stop playing with me, man. All right. I did this. All right, there we go. I got it. I got it. I'm back on track. I'm back on track. I'm back on track. We're going to share the screen again. Here we go. Boom. Gotcha. Got it. Okay. Thank you for, for hanging in there. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Let me make sure this come on the screen, and we're going to get into this. All right. Here we go. And I'm proving to you again in legislation, okay, that Moors are not aboriginals of this land. So y'all better stop allowing these people to play these games with you with their false papers and their false correction, status corrections calling you Moors. You don't know what you're doing to yourself. All right? Now, here we go. 1933, Legislative Journal, House, page 5759, resolution number 75. Mr. Whitkin, Mr. Speaker, I desire at this time to call up resolution number 75, printers number 1034. The resolution was read by the clerk as follows. In the House of Representatives, April 17th, 1933, many sons and daughters of that proud and handsome race which inspired the architecture of Northern Africa and carried into Spain the influence of its artistic temperaments have become citizens of this nation. In the city of Philadelphia, there exists Moorish American society made up of Moors who have found here the end of their quest for a home, and of the children of those who journeyed here from the plains of Morocco. Okay? I'm going to read that again because I don't think y'all heard me. I'm going to read that again. The resolution was read by the clerk as follows. In the House of Representatives, April 17th, 1933, many sons and daughters of that proud and handsome race, which inspired the architecture of Northern Africa. All right? Northern Africa. It never said Northern America. Northern Africa. And what did they do? They carried into Spain the influence of its artistic temperaments have become citizens of this nation. That is the reason why Morocco was the first to acknowledge the United States as a nation. Okay? In the city of Philadelphia, there exists a Moorish American society made up of Moors who have found here the end of their quest for a home, and of the children of those who have journeyed here from the plains of Morocco. So once again, I like to show facts. Facts over feelings. That's how I do things. Okay? People could talk as much as they want. You could tell me this is Morocco as much as you want. You could tell me we are Moors as much as you want. You can't fool me with that. I got the proof. And I like to show proof. All right? So here we go again. I'm not going to get into this Murs and Moes with y'all. All right? I'm just going to show y'all the proof. Y'all call him what y'all want. This society has done much to bring about a thorough absorption by these people of these principles, which are necessary to make them good American what? Citizens. These Moorish Americans have since being here, missed the use of the titles and name annexations that were so familiar at home and which are used in accordance with the doctrines of the religious faith to which they are adherents. Therefore, be it resolved that this house commends the Moorish American Society of Philadelphia for the efficient service it has rendered the nation in bringing about a speedy and thorough Americanization of these former Moors, and that in accordance with the fullest right of religious independence guaranteed every citizen, we recognize also the right of these people to use the name affixes El or Ali or Bey or any other prefix or suffix to which they have heretofore been accustomed to use, which they may hereafter acquire the right to use so, or to use. All right? On the question, will the House adopt the resolution? It was adopted on May 4th, 1933. Okay? 1933. So Moors are not American Aboriginals. Okay? They came here. And the charters that were signed by the nobles and our ancestors, those nobles of Britain, of Spain, and pretty much Europe, they were the Moors. All right? So I just had to put that in perspective. Now that has a lot to do because you see, they always talk about status correction. So I have to show you again. We are still on the topic of status correction. Don't get it twisted. We are still on the topic. All right, brothers and sisters, we are still on the topic of status correction. But I just wanted to make sure that was pointed out very, very clearly so that there will be no mistakes whatsoever. Okay? No mistakes whatsoever. Now, we have a right to self-identify as indigenous people of the Americas. Okay? So when you correct your political status by right, okay, and I'm saying by right, by law, these people are supposed to acknowledge who we are. However, you hear that? However, there's a provision. However, their police officers, they are not educated. In other words, the information will not handed down to them that these people are to be who they say they are. That is their right. The governor, we got to start from the top. It is the governor's responsibility to pass that down to his subsidiaries. I'm talking about the Secretary of State, the mayor, the different senators, the councilmen, the sheriff, the chief of police, and eventually the cops, constables on patrol. So I tell my people, there is much work to be done. Don't just think because you authenticate your birth certificate, all of a sudden, oh, I'm free, I could just, no. You don't even have to authenticate your birth certificate to be able to travel without a driver's license. All right? And anybody could do that, not just Aborigines. Caucasians could do it, Asians could do it, Africans could do it. Because that's the law. You don't need a driver's license to travel. You don't need to register your car. That's the law. So anybody could do it. So you don't have to do anything special for that. But like I said, a lot of people are just hearing information and they want to regurgitate the information and not explain to people exactly what's going on or how it's done. You feel me? So I'm just letting y'all know what's going on. But we have a right to self-identify. And once again, it's the law. You don't need a driver's license or to register a car, because when you register a car, you are getting into a contract with the DMV, which is a privately owned business. That has nothing to do with law or government. They're making you think it is. It's a business. And when you register your car, you're handing over the title to the DMV, and now the car is no longer in your possession. You feel me? So just so y'all know. All right? Now, like I said, we have a right to identify. And I have already gone through on drip, but I'm just going to go over a couple of the articles. Okay? And on drip pertains to indigenous people. Whether or not the United States recognize it or not, which they already have, because Obama adopted it in 2007. So that means it is still concurrent. All right? It is still concurrent, meaning that it is binding. They have to honor that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over a couple of articles. I'm not going to go over the whole thing because I've gone through this in detail and I'm not going to do it again. All right. So I'm just going to go through a few of the articles that is on DRIP, the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Come on, come on, come on. How is that? You always want to be playing this game with me, man. Okay, here we are. We almost there. All right, cool. So we have, okay, we have Article 1. That is the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People as a standard of achievement to be pursued in a spirit of partnership and mutual respect. All right? And mutual respect. Okay? All right. Let's get into that. Article 1. Indigenous people have the right to the full enjoyment as a collective or as individuals. So that means you get to have your rights, the full enjoyments of your right, even if you are an individual or you are part of a collective, meaning that a group, an organization, a tribe, or a nation. All of all human rights and fundamental freedoms as recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declarations of Human Rights, and international human rights law. Okay? Number 2, indigenous people and individuals are free and equal to all other peoples and individuals and have the right to be free from any kind of discrimination in the exercise of their rights, in particular that based on the indigenous origin or identity. So therefore, when you have your documents and you present it, they have no right to discriminate against you and tell you you cannot put that on file. Okay? You feel me? Just so you know. All right. Number 3. Indigenous people have the right to what? Self-determination. By virtue of the right, they freely determine their political status. My brothers and sisters, that's what it's all about. Correcting your political status. That's what this is about. Correcting your political status. And once again, Article number 3, indigenous people have the right to self-determination. By the virtue of the right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. In other words, once you have corrected your political status and you have solidified the fact to them that you are indigenous, you have a right to pursue your economic, social, and cultural development. They cannot discriminate against you for getting a job or working as an indigenous man or woman. Number 4. Number 4. Indigenous peoples, in exercising their right to self-determination, have the right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to. This thing just jumped. Okay. It jumped to 8. Damn. 4. In matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing their autonomous functions. Article number 5. Indigenous peoples have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions while retaining their right to participate fully, if they so choose, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. So what does that mean? It means that you have a right to operate in your indigenous capacity to the fullest. And you have a right to maintain and strengthen your political, your legal, your economic, and social and cultural institutions. While, if you so choose to remain, all right, and still participate fully, if you so choose, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. So, brothers and sisters, you don't have to go from one extreme, because a lot of times people are pushing the idea that once you start correcting your political status, then all of a sudden you have to cancel this and cancel that and do it. No, no, please do not cut your nose to spite your face, brothers and sisters. Make sure that you are able to sustain yourself completely before you cancel all of the contracts with the corporation. I hope you are hearing me. Article number 6. Indigenous peoples, or in every indigenous individual, has a right to a what? A nationality. Black is not a nationality. African American is not a nationality. Seven, 1. Indigenous individuals have the rights to life, physical and mentally integrity, liberty, and security of person. Number 8. Indigenous peoples, 7.2. Indigenous peoples have the right, or the collective right, to live in freedom, peace, and security as distinct people, and shall not be not be subjected to any act of genocide. Now, if I tell you that this is what I want to put on record to update my status, and you telling me I can't do it, you are subjecting me to genocide. That is a lawsuit. Or any other act of violence, including forcibly removing children of the group to another group. Number 8. 1. Indigenous peoples and individuals have the right not to be subjected to forced assimilation or destruction of their culture. So, brothers and sisters, you are familiar with UNDRIP. If you are not familiar with UNDRIP, then I suggest you go to Google and you put in UNDRIP PDF, and you download the PDF and you study it. I have gone through this a million times, so I'm not going to go through it again. All right? I just wanted you guys to know that this is available for us. Okay? This is available for us. Also, we have what's called, let me see if I could find it. Where is that? Where am I at? Give me a second here, guys. Let me just find something else for you guys, okay? Let me close this out. I already did this. Let me close this out. And right now we're gonna go to Google. Man, did I close out Google? Oh man, I closed it out. Oh no, I didn't. It's right here. Okay, so I'm gonna share this again, share this screen again. And we're gonna go to Google, and we're gonna find, now that we have gone through a little bit of the House resolution for not House resolution, but UNDRIP, United Nations Declarations. Let us go look at American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. American. Now we have our own declaration. So let us go look at that briefly. Just to let you guys, all you have to do is just go to Google and download the PDF. And those are some of the things that you use, all right, when you are stating, all right, or when you are correcting your political status. Okay? Those are some of the things that you could use to validate your claim, because you are proclaiming that. So we have our own declaration, which was held on June 15th, 2016. That's when it was adopted. All right, June 15th, 2016. And we're just gonna read it. We're just gonna go through, through a few of them. We're not gonna do all of them. All right. Here we go. Section 1, Indigenous Peoples Scope of Application. 1. The American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples applies to the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Now you have to know whether you are indigenous or not. Nobody could figure that out for you. You have to know. All right. Number 2, self-identification as indigenous peoples will be a fundamental criteria determining to whom this declaration applies. My brothers and sisters, you hear what it says? Self-identification as indigenous peoples will be the fundamental criteria determining to whom this declaration applies. In other words, if I tell you that's who I am, that means that the declaration applies to me if I tell you that I'm indigenous. The states shall respect the right to such self-identification as indigenous individually or collectively in keeping with the practices and institutions of each indigenous people. I rest my case. I'm not even going to read anymore because that alone in itself, just Article 1 alone, should be up in the faces of all your governors, of all your statesmen, of all the sheriff departments, of all the police stations. Okay? So it takes some work. And yes, they are supposed to be letting the public know about that. But why would they? It is not in their best interest. It is not in their best interest. So why should they? I'm not saying that they are right, but all I'm just saying is it doesn't help commerce. Okay? Put it that way. It doesn't help commerce. So, all right. I mean, I see y'all getting into all these arguments, and that's why I like to do videos sometimes and not do live feeds, because you see all these distractions with Murr and MURR. Man, come on. All right, let's stop with the B. Let's stop with it, man. All right. With all the confusion right now. Okay, let us stop with the confusion right now. Because MU, which is Mur, was just another name for the Americas, just like Atlanteans. We were Atlanteans. Now we could say we are the Atlanteans. Are we wrong? No, we are not. All right. So I'm not saying y'all can't do it, but I don't need the distractions right now. All right. I'm trying to get people to understand what political status is and some of the things that they have to do and some of the things they don't have to do. Okay. We already established that we are not Moors. Whether you want to call it MURR, we're not going to get into all that. All right. If you want to classify yourself as that, that's fine. I never heard any of my ancestors call themselves Murs with MUUR. You dig? I've never heard it. All I've heard was American Indian. And before that, there were individual tribes. So I'm just saying, all right, let us stop with the distractions, man, please. This is not what this is about. We're not here trying to convince people and drop all the videos while we merge. That's a whole different, that's a different conversation right now. Because you proving that is not going to help somebody get away from a ticket. It's not going to help somebody with child support. It's not going to help somebody with, with the police. I'm giving people information that's going to assist them in correcting their political status so they don't make the mistakes, or at least to put them on the right path. This is serious business here, man. I mean, for the past half an hour, it's about trying to prove who's, tell people they are Moors or what they are not. Come on, like if that's who you are, that's who you are. Don't force it on anybody else. I'm just saying, with all due respect. And that's the problem with a lot of our people. We want to force our own identity on other people. Once again, I'm not here to prove to you who you are or who you are not. I'm here to show you how to operate in commerce and to show you what it means to correct your political status. Even if you were just to say indigenous, you have every right to do so. All right? So this is what this is about, man. It's about making sure that we are able to operate in our indigenous status without all the static from these people. And how do we do that? Which is my next point. We have to make sure that we as a group of people, we step up. Okay? Too many people want to be individualized. And don't get me wrong, as an individual, you have that right. But because you are dealing in commerce, and it may not be in their best interest to acknowledge who you are as being indigenous, because for one, when you're indigenous, you may feel like, you know what, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to have a driver's license. I don't want to register a car. All that's a form of commerce. Okay? All that is a form of commerce. You feel me? It's a form of commerce. So they feel like they may be losing money. So they're not going to promote on drip. They're not going to promote American Declaration. They're not going to promote House Resolution 331. They're not going to do that. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that they honor it? Yeah, that's right. It's yours. You got work to do. I don't care how much indigenous you scream all day. I don't care how much you say you are a Moor, M-O-O-R, or you are a Mur, M-O-O-M-U-R-R, or M-U-U-R. I don't care if you scream indigenous all day. You could scream Cherokee all day. You can scream Anionwea all day. Man, listen, all that stuff is not going to help. It's when you step up, all right, with your documents and make sure those things are passed through legislation. That's when things really happen. Okay? That's when it really happened. Not by you talking about it and screaming about it. You might as well be in the street screaming Black Lives Matter, which you don't. Because there's no such thing as Black lives. Okay? We have to hold them responsible. We have to make sure that they know that we know that this is there for us to self-identify, and they have to respect it because it's a contract. It's binding. It's lawful. Okay? And if they don't, then we could take actions against them for violating those contracts. So I don't give a damn what you call yourself. Stop with the distractions, man. For real. And that is just facts. People going around talking about, oh, I'm this and I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. But you're still going through the situation. You still have to go do. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. I tell people like this. I tell people, only judge me by my actions. Okay? Let me see. If we are paying for a car and already registered with the city, how do we go about stop paying property taxes if we don't own the vehicle? Well, it's a contract. You know what I'm saying? When the contract is up, then you just don't renew the contract. That's why you think they have renewals. It's a renewal. They give you a contract, and then when it's up, they say, well, hey, they send you a letter. Guess what? Your contract is up. I mean, of course, they're not going to tell you contract, but they're going to tell you your contract is up, and then you feel you have to renew the contract. In that case, you don't have to renew the contract because it's a contract. So you send them a letter letting them know, thank you, but no thank you. I choose not to register. I choose not. No, I don't want to do that. And that's your choice. Okay? That's your choice. It is all contractual. And you don't have to contract. And that's the law. But because a lot of people don't know, and the police is not educated on these indigenous affairs, then they are out here disrespecting. They are actually out here not honoring these treaties because they don't know about them. So guess what? It is up to each and every one of us to play our part to make sure that these things, they know about it. All right? If we have to go give a lecture in the police station, then that's what we have to do. But we have to make sure that they know about it. They don't know about it. And when they stop you now, and they put your ass in jail, and you see a video, people talking about, oh, well, it doesn't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that they don't know about it. And the governor is not going to tell them. It is your job. I mean, before the financial contract is up, you could rescind it. If a contract is not working in your favor, you could rescind the contract. Anytime a contract is not in your favor, especially when there's only one signature, already the contract is voided. It's voidable because there's only one signature, and that's yours. For there to be a contract, there have to be two consenting parties. Okay? And the motor vehicles is not a living man or a woman, so they cannot sign anything. So therefore, that contract is already voidable. Okay? It's already voidable. So you could void that contract, rescind it. You don't have to wait until the contract is up. All right? That is the law. That is your right. You don't have to wait. And another thing is the contract was under false pretense. There was no full disclosure of all the details in the contract. So it was done fraudulently. So all those are your terms on your reason why you're going to cancel the contract. Okay? Exactly. There's no invoice. Absolutely right. You feel me? So at the ending of the day, man, I'm dealing with the facts. All right? I'm dealing with reality here. I'm not here to deal with the fantasies. And I'm going to tell people again, don't be so quick to rush and say, well, I'm going to correct my political status and I'm going to go revoke all these things and rescind all these things and put yourself in a jam. Okay? Put yourself in a jam where you're not able to take care of you and your family because you can't find a damn job because these people don't want to acknowledge who you are. Okay? Take your time. Get your paperwork together. Like I said, get your dossier done. And then slowly but surely, you start sending out your notices. Slowly but surely, you start working on your information. So once you are able to finally be self-sustained, then you could just leave their system alone. But in the meantime, until they are educated, I'm going to give you a typical example. Like I tell people like this. I mean, I would love to give it back to them as well. But let me ask you a question. And like I said, for me, I keep things real. All right? I don't play the games and give people the illusion, hey, you know what? Go ahead and do this and go ahead and do that. And you put yourself in a situation where you can't take care of your family. I don't want to be responsible for that. For people to say, well, Chief said, no, Chief didn't say a damn thing. I'm just giving you the knowledge and you do what you want with it. But however, I'm going to show y'all some things. All right. So this is our nation ID. All right. Official. Okay. This Chief Kalanago. This is my dossier ID. Okay. Official, hologram and everything. Real professional. Because like I said, that's how I do things. Now, that is when I am operating in my indigenous capacity. Okay. In my indigenous capacity. I'm going to show y'all again. Because a lot of people think that I'm joking with this. I'm not. This is very serious to me. All right. This is my birth certificate with my indigenous capacity, which says Kalanago, Chief Kalanago on there. And the birthplace is the Americas. This is a legal and lawful document. All right. I tell people I do this for real. I don't just play around. Okay. This right here is my passport, okay, with Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle on here. And this is a lawful and legal document. That's what I used to go to the UN. And it's in the system. Because when I went, I give it to them, they went in the back, they punch it up, they say, oh, he's good, he's in the system. All right? I'm letting y'all know I do this for real. Okay? That is when I am operating in my indigenous capacity. When they're not giving me problems. However, when they want me to revert to being a citizen, when in other words, what do you mean by that, Chief? Well, you know what? I want to go rent a car. And they don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to acknowledge my dossier ID or my nation ID. What do? I'm stuck. So that means what am I gonna do? I gotta rent a car, right? So good. Look. I have a driver's license because I'm doing commerce. I'm renting a car. I'm doing business, whether it's business or not. But at the end of the day, that's the only way I could rent the car. So I have a driver's license, which is under the name my mother gave me, Kenrick. Like I said, man, I ain't got nothing to hide. I keep it real with people. All right? Because everybody's selling everybody an illusion. They're selling people a dream. Oh, well, just go ahead and authenticate your birth certificate and slap plates on your car, and all of a sudden you're free and go ahead and give everything back. Man, listen, you don't do that, man. You don't do that. That's not how it's done. People are misleading you. And then when you try to send them emails, guess what? You cannot find them because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay? Look again. I go to the bank. I say, listen, I'm indigenous. Here's my passport. Here's my ID. Here's everything. Here's my dossier. Oh, well, you know what? You cannot open up a bank account, blah, 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 blah. I have to go through all this litigation. I have to go through all this to the legal department, write notices. Sometimes I don't want to deal with that headache. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. All right? Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. So what I do, I have a bank account in the legal name with Chase Bank. All right? I have a credit card in the legal name with Capital One. What's in your wallet? Capital One. When I'm indigenous, what's in your wallet? My indigenous IDs. Is that fraud? No, it's not fraud because you are forcing me to assimilate. The only thing is I don't try to get caught with both of them at the same time. So when I'm traveling in my indigenous capacity and I do need to have the legal IDs on me, so to speak, I make sure I tuck it somewhere where it cannot be found. So now I'm not caught with two different IDs showing two different identities and get arrested on the spot for fraud. Even if I'm able to vindicate myself after, I'm certainly sure I will be able to get out of it. But the point is, I don't want to put myself in that position. So until I'm able to operate in my indigenous capacity fully, I have the right, just like it says in UNDRIP, to participate in their system if I so choose. As long as the contract is not hurting me, I am going to use it. And nobody could blame you for this because they are forcing us to assimilate. But in the meantime, I am working my ass off to make sure this is all I need. But in the meantime, if I get into a stumbling block, guess what? Boom, I'm good. I am not stuck, a fish out of water and I can't do what I got to do. Come on, man. You see, we got to keep it real with people. We can't give people the illusion that this thing is easy. It's going to happen overnight. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, man. All people have been through too much. And I cannot afford to play the games. So I'm letting you know, I operate both in my indigenous and whether you call it citizen or whatever you want to call it status. Public and private, so to speak. But I always make an attempt to travel in my indigenous status at least 95% of the times. You feel me? That's right. We got to creep before we walk. Everybody just think it's going to happen overnight. Oh, I'm just going to do an indigenous ID and just take a car and just, no. Man, they're going to take your ass to jail. You feel me? Let us make sure that we educate these people. All right? Let us make sure that we go to these people. We require and we demand sit-downs with them. And we let them know this is the law. You have to abide by this. This is a contract. This is who I am. And I'm telling you, you have to honor that. I'm not asking you. I'm letting you know that you have to. It's your obligation. That's how we start making these waves. But you see, nobody want to make the moves. But they just want to come and just get shit for free. It don't happen like that. It don't happen that way. That's what y'all think. Okay? Do you know how many notices that I write? Do you know how many documents I got to send places? Do you know that yes, I know so much. I had to pay $800 to learn how to do a trust. Huh? Do you know I just paid another $240 just to get some other information about the birth certificate? I had to pay. Yes, that's right. I could show you my bank statement. But people always want to come and get shit for free. What's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all nuts. And that's why y'all don't get anywhere, because you want everything for free. That's what you want. That's in your mind. You thinking that you don't have to pay for it. No, you got to pay for it. A lot of our ancestors paid with their lives. Why aren't you thankful that you don't have to pay for your freedom with your life? Because our ancestors have already paid the price. Man. Man, I don't even know, man. Says the day I met Chief, he broke it down to me and showed me the documents in private and a public capacity. Keep it real. I got to keep it real. I don't have a choice but keep it real. Because like I said, it's too many people out there playing games. Okay? I mean, can we find one person that's honorable? Huh? Can we find one person that has character? Can we find at least one person? Come on, man. But you know what? Guess what? I choose to be that one man that's not going to sit here and play games. So don't come to me with no games. Don't come to me thinking you could use me. No, it's not going to happen. I do these videos. I give you the information because I love y'all. And I do it. Okay? I feel an obligation. It's not because I have to. No. It's something that I tell myself I'm going to do for my people. Whether you support me or not, I don't give a damn. But when you come to me and you want me to do any type of anything for you, you got to pay me. I ain't doing shit for free. I'm just keeping it real. Because you know what? When this light go off, I got to pay for it. All right? Winter time is here. I cannot grow certain foods. I got to go to town and I got to buy some food. You feel me? Like I said, public and private. I still got a credit card. It got to be paid for. When I got to send out all these documents to all these different governments, guess what? They got to be paid for. Do you know how much mental preparation it takes to sit down and do a dossier or do some documents, some law? Do you know what type of mental capacity it takes? Why do you think everybody don't do it? Why do you think everybody cannot do it? Because it is very taxing on your brain. Trust me. And sometimes it's not even just about doing the document. It's about the energy that you put into the document. That is the energy you put into the document. All that goes along with it. Come on, man. We got to do better than this. We got to do better than this, man. For real. We have to. That is just the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, as a people, we have to make sure that they know that we know who we are. That's number one. Number two, we have to make sure that they know and they are aware that these declarations exist. And it's their job to tell everybody in their chain, okay, that these documents exist and they have to respect these indigenous peoples. But you know what? Y'all would rather take your gold and you would rather go give it to the Asian man. You would rather take your gold and go give it to the Arab. Okay? Yes, my brother. Come in, my brother. While they are using you. You would rather take your gold and give it to the Africans. You would rather take your gold and give it to the Caucasians. You would rather take your gold and give it to the Jews. All right? But anytime Chief say, you know what, you got to pay for something, or anybody else in my position, all of a sudden, oh man, yo, Chief charging people for this. What? Man, this is so hilarious to me, man. Sometimes I cannot even get mad. You know? But if it was a Caucasian man that came to you and said, you know what? It's going to cost you $1,000 to get your political status corrected. All right? And this is what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to, you know, even if right now, you don't even need to correct your political status to actually travel without license plate. You don't even need to correct your political status to travel without a driver's license, because that's the law. All right? Supreme Court ruling. Period. You don't need a damn piece of paperwork for that. because they're supposed to know that. But if a Caucasian man come and tell you, hey, I could do this for you for $1,000 and you are able to do all this, man, let me tell y'all something. I guarantee you, y'all would be doing overtime, in between time, behind the time, before the time, and on time to make sure you raise that $1,000 so that you could give it to the Caucasian man. You know what? Because you only believe the things they say. But here, Chief is telling you, man, listen, all it's going to take is $200 to do your dossier. That's it. And I'm giving you other documents with it. And not just that, you are part of the family. When we do conference calls, you're invited. When we make moves, you are invited. And if you get into legal situations, we still got your back. We're going to assist you with it. Y'all think it's too much. Y'all a bunch of wicked people, man. Y'all wicked. And that's why a lot of y'all can't see y'all way. Because the Most High is making sure y'all cannot see y'all way because y'all heart is not in the right place. That is the problem. Y'all hearts are not in the right place. And a lot of y'all will continue to suffer because of that. Because at the ending of the day, I know I'm always going to be good. You know why? Because this is as light as a feather. Always pure, always true. You feel me? So I'm not worried about anything else. But I'm just letting people know, don't try to use me. Okay? Don't try to use me. Don't try to play me, man. For real. I ain't the one. I come here, I give you the information, I research, I study, I give it to you. Man. And I'm ready to unite with anybody. Everybody who send me an email. Do me a favor, bro. Do me a favor, sis. Send me your number. I get on the phone. I talk to them for over an hour. Just because. Other people, guess what they got to do? They got to give them consultation fees. Man, listen, man. Y'all think it's a game out here, right? That's the problem. Y'all think it's a game out here. For real. But anyway, let us rock. So anyway, I'm going to take a couple of questions and then I'm going to conclude this. But I hope you got a little insight on the whole status correction thing. All right? Authenticating your birth certificate is not all. That is just part of the process, and that doesn't even have anything to do with you being indigenous, because when you authenticate the birth certificate, you are still dealing in commerce. So that has nothing to do with being indigenous, period. All right, nothing whatsoever. So that's all to deal in commerce. When you are dealing with your indigenous capacity, yes, you're gonna put your paperwork together. You're gonna proclaim who you are. And then places you could send it to. But I tell people before you start sending dossiers to the governor, because the dossier is such a powerful document, they might get a little nervous because of the language in there. It is really powerful. Like you're literally saying, man, listen, I ain't your citizen and you can't tell me shit. I'm just talking about in so many words to be real. Okay? So I'm thinking what you need to do is this. I created 2 documents that I gave you guys as gifts in all the videos. I don't see nobody doing that for y'all. But you know what? I do it because I care. I gave it to you as a questionnaire you could send to your governors. It's called First Contact. That is a great way to break the ice. It's not aggressive. You're putting them in their comfort zone. You are asking questions. And when they respond, beautiful. Now you know how to proceed. I gave y'all another document that speaks about the right to travel. I gave y'all that as a gift. You feel me? All those things you could send out. So now once you have broken the ice and you kind of like building a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Then you send your dossier to them on that level. But before that, you could use your dossiers with your job. You could use it with the banks. You could use it with your children's school. All those different places you could use your dossier because it's a lawful document. You could use it in court because I've already used my dossier in court. Okay? So I'm just saying. It's a great piece of tool that you could use to your advantage. All right? And while we work on the people on the top so that we could, you know, let them work with us because that's what they're supposed to do. Work with us as indigenous people. That is their obligation. And who is stepping up? Who is stepping up to make sure that we have to hold them responsible? I don't see people, man. I don't see people doing it. Okay. Said your research and time cost you, so it should be expected to pay. Of course, man. I mean, come on, like seriously, right? All facts, Chief, been looking out for me since day one. I mean, that's what I do, man. That's what I do. Everyone keeps hop, skipping, and jumping around the authentication process. Is the shit what's up or not? Man, like I said before, authentication process has nothing to do with your Aboriginal indigenous capacity. That is only to deal in commerce. All you're doing is having the Secretary of State, authorizing that this document is legit. All right. And you could use it for certain advantages. Like I said, the birth certificate wasn't made for a form of identity. It wasn't created for that. However, you are the beneficial interest of that. So yes, you can use your birth certificate to discharge certain debts. All right. And that's where authentication comes in. And that's a whole different process. All right. So that should answer your question. I emailed and same day he called me back. All right. Of course, you already know, Messiah. All right, Chief. I use some people in the community against what they call pan-Aboriginal groups and instead tell you to work with your biological family only, even if they aren't with this information. I'm not. Let me just read this again. Are you, Chief? Are you some people in the community against that? What they call? I've heard the term pan-Aboriginal. I mean, if I'm gonna assume what it means based on pan-Africanism, then I don't get involved in this pans anything. I work with anybody. All right, anybody. I work with you, whether you're an Aborigine or whether you are African. If you have a legal situation, I could assist you. I will assist you. I don't really care about who is who or what. I just know that this system is abusing people, and anybody, whether you may be a Caucasian, an Asian, I don't care. If I could assist you, I will assist you. All right. Instead, you tell to work with your biological family. Nah, I work with anybody, man. I work with anybody. All right. What about the name holder and all that stuff is for what you call it? Again, commerce. All right. Doing the assumed name certificate, all that stuff is for commerce. Separating yourself from the legal entity, but still saying that you own the legal name. All that stuff is still commerce. But how can you own it and you still have to deal with the charter of that state? So in other words, you're not the owner of it, but they are granting you permission to use it. So all that stuff is dealing with commerce. All right. It's all dealing with commerce. The name is not yours. It's not a name. All right. It's an event that was given a name and they own that event through the registration. Chief, why are you? Why are? I don't know what that means. Those are the ones who are in the tribe looking to use individual treaties for their causes. We must all get the same page and come together. Yes, we are all that we have. All right. We are all that we have. And not everybody's going to get together. That is just the honest truth. Okay. Not everybody's come together. A lot of people everybody have their interior motives. Even me, I got my interior motives. What are my interior motives? My interior motives is that these people leave us the hell alone. Okay. My interior motives is that my people are able to be who we are in our land. And at the same time, I'm able to sustain myself. All right. I'm just saying that is my motive. All right. What about federal taxes? All that stuff is voluntary. It's voluntary. The IRS is a privately owned corporation. It has nothing to do with the government. That's why Trump will never show his taxes because he don't pay. All right. It is all voluntary. It's that simple. So like I told y'all before, we live in a voluntary system. Okay. In a voluntary system. And anytime they approach you, couple of simple questions. Show me the contract. Show me that there is a verifiable contract, a lawful contract between you and I. Show me that. Prove to me that I owe that debt. You always have to put the burden on them. The burden of proof got to be on them. All right? So that is just the bottom line. The burden of proof got to be on them. So at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. All right? If you have a legal situation and I could assist you and you're going to pay, I will assist you. Period. It is that simple. All right? The green, the fiat currency ain't got no race on it. It doesn't say black. It doesn't say African American. It doesn't say Jew. It doesn't say indigenous. It doesn't say Mer. It doesn't say Moor. It doesn't say Israelite. It doesn't say none of that. It's just green. And when I go to the store, I could use it as a tool of barter. All right, to barter. That's what I could use it for. So it's that simple. I don't care who you are. If you have a situation, I could assist you. I will assist. Period. All right? So I don't discriminate. The only time I get a little bit wary is when people come at me sideways. Okay? And right off the rip, I'll be knowing. Because I could tell. So that's it. All right. So any more questions before I conclude? If anybody have any more questions, feel free to ask. Now is the time. If there was anything in the information that wasn't clear enough, all right. Again, this was just trying to put some things more in perspective for you guys in terms of authentication and status correction. What is it exactly? Okay. And brothers and sisters, there is no one way to do this, honestly. Okay? There is no one way to do this. There is no particular blueprint. Like, when you're going to do a test and the test have one set of answers. No. That is not what, correcting your political status doesn't only have one way to do it. There are a few different ways and methods to do what you feel you need to do. So you don't have to do it the way that I do it. You could come up with your own ways. You feel me? Yes, you can. Come up with your own ways to do it. But I just follow a certain format, which I know have proven results. And that's what I use. And that's what I stick to until there are other ways to improve it, if it can be improved. But until then, it's been working, and like I said, I tell people, because you go out there and try to correct your political status, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will automatically honor it. No. Remember, prisoner of war, we are not trying to let you go. We still want to hold on to you, because if you free yourself, that means it's one less slave on the plantation. So you have to be persistent, all right? You have to keep pushing. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Because you make one or two moves and they didn't acknowledge it, it didn't mean that you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that you failed. That's why I read Frederick Douglass' story for you guys, so you know what he had to go through. The man went to jail for 2 years because one of his people sold him out. All right? So I'm just saying, are you willing to go to jail for 2 years to get your freedom? You see, those are the things that you have to ask yourself to know if you're really serious about this. I would. But you see, I'm made of a different cloth anyway. But that's just my mentality. All right? That is just me. I'm not telling you to go sit in jail for 2 years or anything like that. But that I would rather go sit in jail for 2 years, if that's what it means for me to gain my freedom for the rest of my life. 2 years in jail is a small price to pay. I was asking because the way they talk about it seemed like they are trying to discourage some people. They speak from a perspective like they are superior to people who cannot connect with their family. Now, like I tell people, man, don't listen to these people. Don't listen to these people. A lot of them, they're just talking. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of them belong to federal recognized tribes. Okay? They are under the federal government. They are wards of the state. So they could keep that. All right? They could keep that. Believe me. they could keep that. Because I know a lot of them talking that indigenous and aboriginal stuff, American Indian stuff, and they are part of federally recognized tribes. All right? They got their native cards, but they wouldn't let y'all know that though. But trust me, I know for a fact. I could have gotten it. I could have gotten it. An Indian chief in the Bronx invited me, okay, and said, Chief, all you have to do is just give me your information and I will make sure you get your native card. Guess what? Up to this present day, I haven't called him back. Up to this present day, I haven't gone back to the meeting. You know why? Because I'm not going to sell out. Y'all think? Chief do this for real. All right? I ain't selling out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the information. I hope I give you guys some valuable information. So once again, take your time, okay? Don't rush into anything, all right? Don't rush into anything. If you do get your dossier done, still take your time and go through the process. Don't be so quick to void or rescind all the contracts in the matrix. Because unless you are able to sustain yourself fully, why would you do such a thing? Because you hear people talking. The same people who are talking, guess what? They have cars in their driveway with a license plate on it. That's registered with their state. They have a driver's license. They have bank accounts. They have social security numbers. But they are out here pushing the illusion for you. Family, I know what I'm talking about. I have seen it with my own eyes. That's why I keep it 100 with you guys. I show you. I operate public and private. Okay? I show y'all this. I'm keeping it 100. How many of them actually show you that? But they wouldn't keep it real. They will not keep it real. So be very, very, very careful from the people you get information from. Okay? I'm just saying that. I have a question before Christopher Columbus invaded. Were we called Indians or not? No. We cannot go past 1490 and be called Indians because we had individual tribes and we identified ourselves based on our surroundings. So no. So that's why I tell people be very, very, very careful when you just want to limit yourself to just being an American Indian. That is cool. It has perks, but it could be dangerous as well. Okay? It could limit yourself. All right, he says, was that given to us by colonizers? Yes, the name Indian was given to us by the people who came here. All right, and call us Indians. They said it was Christopher Columbus. It could have been the Moors. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we didn't call ourselves Indians. All right. Exactly. Yep. Going us in a state like New York and talk about, oh, my birth certificate is authenticated. I'm gonna drive around with my plates. Man, then police will chew your ass. All right. So, like I said, man, it's about education. The same way we have to educate ourselves, we have to educate those people. All right. Get a sit down with the governor. Get a sit down with the mayor. Get a sit down with the Secretary of State. Get a sit down with the sheriff. Get a sit down with the police chief. We have to educate them. And that's how we go about doing that. Okay? That's how we have to go about doing that. So for me, to be on the safe side, I tell myself or identify myself as a man who identifies as an American Aboriginal or Aboriginal, same thing, aka American, also known as American Indian. So I don't cut off my ancestors' lineage, and just stop it at 1492. Because if I only say I'm only an American Indian, then I cannot claim anything before 1492. So I'm just saying be very mindful, okay? I know there's a brother, I seen a short clip of a video of a brother on YouTube talking about, well, he is registered with the United States, I mean with the UN, and he's an American Indian and all, and that's all well and good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the brother. That is a step in the right direction. But for me, that's not far enough. Okay? I am not just going to limit myself to just to American Indian. Because what if they were to say, you know what, man, we are taking all the privileges away from the American Indians, then you're stuck. Because it was a label that was given to us. All right? So I'm not knocking anybody. If you're making progress, man, congratulations. But there's always room for improvement. And that's where I'm at with it. Until we're able to master this thing and we're able to be left the hell alone. That's all I'm just saying. All right? So I hope everybody's good. I'm about to go drink me some soup. I made some soup earlier, some vegetable soup. So I had some carrots in there, some broccoli in there, some cauliflower in there. What else I had? I put a lot of onions in there. What else? Well, I ate some raw lettuce, and a few other things. It was really good. But I made it a vegetable soup, which is really, really good. All right. Yep. Well, the truth of the matter is, man, about getting your family on board. Not everybody, you see, and there's a reason why a lot of our people, especially elders in the families, that's why a lot of them don't want to get involved, because they're just seeing it's too much separation. All right. They're seeing that people are doing these things and they're getting in situations. Okay, they're getting in situations and they feel it's not going to work. So that's why you have to step up and prove to them that it's going to work. That's why you have to step to them and go the extra mile. Okay, we are the ones. Remember, many are called and chosen a few. And the chosen ones have to go the extra mile. We are the ones that have to go through the fire. Okay, you just have to let them be. We cannot save everybody, brothers and sisters. All right, we have to go pave the way. So when and if something do hit the fan, all right, they have a means of protection. But sometimes we have to leave the roost. We have to walk away, not to abandon your family, but walk away to set things up. Sometimes we have to do that. Okay? And they will thank you later. They may not see it now, but they will thank you later. All right? So here you go. We cannot save everybody. Everybody didn't come to be saved this time around. That's a fact. Okay? No, we can't save everyone. No. We can't save everyone. I'm going to give you another typical example. In the allegorical story of Lot, when the Most High, again, I'm saying allegorical, all right, please. When the Most High told Lot, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you could go find me 100, again, I'm paraphrasing. If you could go find me 100 righteous people, I will save Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot went, he couldn't find 100 people. The Most High said, okay, drop it down to 80. If you could find 80 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, I'm going to save the entire city. Lot couldn't find 80. The Most High was about to destroy it. Lot said, okay, you know what? Give us another chance. If we could find 40, would you spare the entire city? The Most High said, yes. If you find 40 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, I'm going to spare the entire city. Lot went into every area of that city and couldn't find a righteous people. Then the Most High was about to destroy it. Lot said, how about 10? The Most High said, yes. Until they went down to 1 outside of his family. The Most High said, if you could find 1 righteous person outside of your family in Sodom and Gomorrah, I will save the entire city. And Lot couldn't find 1 righteous person. Okay? And all his family would have been saved. The only criteria was what? Do not turn around. And when they left, who turned around? His wife. Guess what? She turned into a pillar of salt. What is that telling you? Everybody weren't meant to be saved. All right? Even if they know the knowledge, Even if they're actually on their way out the door, they could still get caught up because there's distractions all over. She turned around and she turned into a pillar of salt. So we cannot save everybody. It doesn't mean that you don't care. No, that's not what it means. It just means that you cannot save everybody, because you will end up getting killed in the process. All right? So all I'm just saying is this. You have to step out and set things right. Make sure that you get yourself in order. Go through the fire. Go through the trials. Go through the tribulations. Yes. Sometimes it may have to take where, you know what? I'm traveling and I got my indigenous ID and they stop me and they want to force me to, you know what? Go ahead, arrest me. Sometimes it's going to take that. And then you have to go to court and then you learn how to beat it. Okay? And yes, you can. But brothers and sisters, sometimes it's going to take that sacrifice. When they realize, man, listen, no matter how much we arrest these people, they're still doing what's in their right to do. Eventually, they will leave us alone. Okay? So you have to be willing. You have to be willing to walk the walk. It is that simple. And I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, it is not a popular road. It is the road less traveled. I guarantee you that. Okay? So please, travel your path wisely. Don't let nobody fool you to put you in a position where you cannot take care of yourself or your family because they tell you to go rescind everything or revoke everything. All right? And next thing you're stuck. You cannot do anything. Don't put yourself in that position. Do it gradually. Okay? That is the best advice I could give you. If you're going to take any advice from me, man, let that be the words of wisdom. Take your time. Okay? And do it gradually. Yes, do your paperwork. Correct your political status. But don't just jump out of the matrix just like that. If you are not ready to jump out of the matrix, take your time and use the matrix to facilitate your indigenous life until you're able to start winning yourself out of that system slowly but surely, when you won't need them anymore. And that's what each and every one of us have to do. Okay? But we could do it together. I'm willing to stand with any brother and sister that's willing to stand for me. It is that simple. But I always tell people, if you make one step, I'm going to make 2 steps for you. That's what I am, and that's who I am. All you have to do is just make 1 step. And I'm going to make 2 steps for you because I'm going to show you how to make the other 5 steps. Okay? I'm not going to fish for you, but I'm going to teach you how to fish. So that means you'll be able to eat for a lifetime. All right? That's my goal, to teach you the things that I know so that you're able to do these things on your own so that you could teach somebody else. All right? I never hold on to information and say, well, it's my information. Oh, well, they got my information. What you mean, your information? Information is information. Every information came from all over the place. There's no original information. All of it came from somebody else. And if it didn't come from somebody else, it came from the nature. All right, so it did come from somewhere. So nobody owned anything, man. But anyway, you know, like man like to possess things. Man like to own things. But a wise man once said, I don't own anything. I just possess it. So that I won't be held liable for it. Words of wisdom. Okay? I don't own anything, but I possess. I just have it in my possession. You feel me? All right? So, guys, let me see. I've been on here for what? It's been a minute now. Let me see. I'm about to conclude this build. Over 2 hours. Good, good, good. We did good. So you guys got 3 videos from Chief today. So I can't guarantee when you're gonna get another video because, like I said, man, I'm moving the spirit. You feel me? And I was just in the mood to do 3 videos today. I said kind of between 3 and 4, but I think three was good. I think, you know, we went over a lot of information. And and just my belief, I believe that it was great information to assist the family in just, more clarification and putting things in perspective. All right. So it will guide you on your journey. You feel me? Question: are you a vegan? No, I'm not a vegan. No. We need to build on our own nation and system. We need to stick together as a whole. Oh, yes, we do have our nation. And a lot of the people on this feed are actually part of our nation. So we already have that already going. Okay, so we already a step ahead of a lot of people in that. All right. And we are making some powerful moves. Okay. So yeah, we definitely got that going for us already. Like I said, apart from the dossier ID, this is our nation ID. And on the dossier ID, on this one, I have original American, and on my other dossiers, I have American Aboriginal / American Indian. All right. So I'm just saying. Chief, it says, where can I get a dossier? Well, that's why my email is in the link below. That's what I do. All right. That's what I do. I create them. All right. And not just create them, but you also get an ID with your dossier. And not just that, you get other documents that go with it. And not just that, I go from top to bottom and explain it to you in detail, exactly what you have, how to use it. I never leave you hanging. Okay, it's not just, well, hey, here's your dossier and you good. No, I don't practice that. All right, I don't practice that. So at the end of the day, I'm a strong believer in I am my brothers and sisters keeper. I'm a strong believer of that. Okay, because I also believe in do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I wouldn't like somebody to do that to me, just to give me something and leave me hanging. That is a feeling I have felt. Okay, and I don't want people to feel that way. Nope. So got to do the right thing, man. Got to do the right thing. And don't get me wrong, a lot of our people are a pain in the ass, man. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm just being honest. A lot of our people are a pain in the ass. So, but I try my best to to deal with them, and be respectful and be cordial, be, again, that word I don't like, patient. But yeah, I definitely make an attempt to be a good steward to my people. All right. What's the link? My email is in the link below. My email is in the link below. Chief, can you help with the dossier? Yeah, that's what I do. I create them. I mean, I've showed you guys this before. I have showed you guys this before. All right. It's right here. Okay. It's right here. 20-page document. You see? You see the same picture that's on my dossier ID? It's on the cover of my dossier. All right. So that's what I do, man. I've been telling y'all that for the longest while. For the longest while. I mean, of course, we have a lot of backstabbers, but you see, I don't focus on that. One thing I tell people is this: I can only speak for myself. Okay. And when you have made up your mind to deal with integrity, then it doesn't matter what other people do. All you're responsible for is yourself. That's it. As long as you make up your mind to be righteous, to do the right thing, okay, then it doesn't matter what anybody else does, because the only person you're responsible for is yourself. That's why I don't care about what other people do. Okay, I don't care what other people do, as long as when it comes to Chief, nobody could say that Chief did this to me or Chief did that to me. That's all I care about. Because when they say Chief, they have to show the proof. Because I always have a record of every single thing I do. Always have a record. Believe me, I'm a great record keeper. Me and people, there are certain people, me and them have had interactions. I'm talking about 3-4 years ago, and I still got the records to prove of everything that went down. Y'all better believe that, because I know the mindset of a lot of our people. A lot of our people are dangerous. Okay? They dangerous, crazier than a bag of angel dust. You know what I'm saying? So me knowing that, I like to keep records just in case they want to get out of their mouth. I could always prove with facts and records because a few of them tried before, but they couldn't. It couldn't sustain. It lasts for a little while though, but the truth finally came out. You feel me? It finally came out. So, like I tell people, the only person I'm responsible for is me. That's it. I don't care what anybody else do. I'm not responsible for what anybody else does. But for sure, when it comes to me, I could guarantee what I will do and what I won't do. So that's, with that being said, I could only give account for myself. And if each and every one of us hold ourselves responsible, for our actions, then we will be very mindful of how we treat others. Okay? That is the truth. You feel me? And you said proof to who? What does that mean? I'm not sure if that question was for me. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the only person that holds us responsible truly and know whether we are, we are being true or not is ourselves. All right? So I tell people, learn to be truthful with yourself, and then you'll learn to be truthful with others. All right? Hold yourself accountable. Be responsible. Do the things to others that you want them to be, that you would have them do unto you. That's all I could tell you, man. That's the best advice I could give y'all. Okay? And have a conscience. All right? Not to use your brothers and sisters. That's just the rules that I live by. All right? It keeps me in check. All right? We all have to keep ourselves in check because the mind could always wander. You feel me? Wanting you to do things that you shouldn't be doing, but you have to be in control. Okay? You have to be in control. All right? So anyway, anybody else have any questions before I get out of here? It's like 9:54 my time. Is it 9:54? Oh no, it's actually 8:54 my time. That's Central Time. So I guess we could go a few more minutes. I'm just gonna see if anybody have any questions. If not, then I could definitely I'm content with the live, so I could conclude. But if you guys have any questions, shoot. All right, shoot. Any question. It doesn't necessarily have to be about status correction. It could be about anything we discussed or anything that deals with a situation that you may have, whatever. Yeah, it's actually 8:54. Yeah, 8:54. I was actually looking at my desktop, and it's an hour ahead. I think it has New York time, and it hasn't updated yet. But I'm in Missouri, so it's actually 8:54, 8:55 right now. All right. So, any questions before I get out of here? I think what I'm gonna do for the rest of the evening, I'm just gonna relax a little bit. I have this it's a video, right? Not just one video, but it's a lot of songs of American Indian songs or Native American songs. It's great, man. It's so relaxing, and it takes me in a zone. So I think I'm gonna listen to that, just refocus my mind and do a little meditation. Like I said, finish up my soup. And maybe I haven't looked at a movie in a while, so I'll see if I could find a decent lifetime movie on YouTube. Them Lifetime movies, they be man, they be bugging me out. You're absolutely welcome. You're welcome, fam. You're welcome, man. Like I said, if each and every one play our part, we would definitely be able to make strides. You know what I mean? Chief, are you against veganism? No, I'm not against anything. Do whatever you feel that you need to do. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, brother Kel. I tell people I can't be against people who want to be vegans. No, I mean, shoot, that would be too presumptuous of me. No, you know, if you're a vegan, hey, more power to you. I don't label myself. Once in a while I eat meat. Once in a while I don't eat meat. I mean, I hadn't eaten meat for a very long time until we had some cow meat that was raised on the farm. I had a taste of that. But who knows? I'm back to not eating meat again. So you know what I mean? So like I said, man, you know, it is what it is. You know? I don't judge people when it comes to that. What do you think about the Egyptian artifacts found in the Grand Canyon? America was the first Egypt, so-called Egypt. All right, so it all started here, and then we took it down into Africa. All right, so and I have done videos proving that, and that also shows up in my DNA as well. So we have such a vast history, man. It's amazing. It's 9:57. Where you at? Where you at, Tanisha? Where you at? But you know, we have such an elaborate history, man. It's like we literally connected to all over Mother Earth. That is just a fact. So I don't know why we try to separate ourselves so much. You know, all that stems from divide and conquer. And like I told y'all, people, may I reiterate, the divide and conquer didn't start with the Caucasian man. You see, y'all got fooled. The divide and conquer start with people who look just like us. All right? Because it was about the have and the have-nots. That's what it was about. It had nothing to do with race. Because so-called white people and so-called black people was on the same slave farms, working their ass off. So y'all better recognize. That's right. We are the original pyramid builders. You did? All right. Okay. All right. So you in Louisiana. All right. Cool. 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 Louisiana. That's not too far from Missouri, is it? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's Tunisia or Tunisia. I hope I'm not pronouncing your name incorrectly. What state you in? Yep, indeed, indeed. I mean, unity is key. And like I said, it's only going to take a few of us, not a lot, just a few. Somebody said, Chief, I have my live birth certificate. I was born in Kansas, living in Michigan. Can I authenticate in Michigan? You may be able to. Normally, you would have to send it to the Secretary of State of the territory that you were born in, but they may do it for you in Michigan. I'm not sure. But either way, you know, if you could just mail it out to them in Kansas, if they're not going to do it in Michigan, and they would do it for you. All right, so you could do that as well. Okay, but know your reason and your purpose for doing the authentication. All right. It says, do we have to be to take part in the census as Aboriginals? No, the census is optional, just like everything else. All right. Here is one way to always ask yourself, should I or should I not? Okay? Ask yourself this question. Did our ancestors do it before there were colonizers on our land? And when I say colonizers, don't think colonizers again is Caucasian people. I keep warning y'all. All right? I keep warning you guys about that. Okay? The census is optional. So even when the census first started, which I've told you guys before, in 1790, American Indians were not allowed to partake in the census because that was part of those treaties. We were not to engage in their business. Okay? We were not to engage in their business. So we didn't take part in the census period. All right? Just so y'all know. So that stuff is optional. If you want to do it, fine. It's up to you, but you don't have to do it. I'm in South Carolina. Okay, cool. All right, South Carolina. All right, we got South Carolina in the building. So that's what I'm saying, man. We need to set up those foundations in all these different territories. All right, so we could start sending out these documents to all these governors all over in at least 20, 30 different territories. Let them know it is time to step their game up. That's what we got to do, man. That's what we got to do. What about what about not being able to enter into a certain building without the real ID? Once again, that is being forced on the people because the people are not stepping up. All right? The people are not stepping up. They didn't just say real ID, other IDs could be acknowledged as well. Okay? But we have to step up and make sure that they recognize or acknowledge who we are. Well, not recognize, but acknowledge. All right? Acknowledge who we are. Because I ain't getting no real ID either. Okay? Nobody could force me to do that. That's optional. But if they don't want you to know it's optional, so they're going to tell you it's the law. But it's not the law because there's no such thing as a real ID. And I just proved that to you guys in this video. I just proved it again. Because the birth certificate is not and was never created or meant to be a form of identification. So therefore, if it's the foundation of every ID, then that means every ID was created or done on the fraud. So they cannot force you to do that. But you have to know the law. You have to know how to articulate yourself. All right? You have to know how to send a notice to them. All right? Does an indigenous building company have to have an indigenous title to start out as at the US? What? Does an indigenous building company have to have an indigenous title to start out at the US jurisdiction? I mean, for me, in my opinion, this is how it should work. Okay, I'm telling you how it should work. If you are indigenous and you want to start an indigenous company, all you have to do is put them a notice and they're supposed to respect it. That's how it's supposed to work. All right. Now, whichever way they deal with you and however they make it work, then that's a whole different story. You may have to have a battle dealing with them with that, but that's how it's supposed to work. Okay. You let them know that you're indigenous and this is an indigenous business, and that's it. And they're supposed to honor and respect that based on the declarations. But for me, the problem is not enough of us is holding them accountable. So now it becomes a thing where it feels like, you're doing it alone. You feel me? So at the end of the day, you don't have to be part of the system to have an indigenous business. No. All they have to do is just recognize that it's indigenous. And that is the way it's supposed to work. Remember, I'm saying it's supposed to work. Now, it doesn't mean that's how it's always worked out, because these people are not educated on indigenous affairs and how indigenous people should be treated. So we have to find a way to educate them. And that's the thing to me. All right. So I hope that answers the question. How do we fight against the 5G? The 5G, what is that? 5 grams of coke? I don't know what that is. What is the 5G? What's that? 5G, what's that? And you could tell I don't know about no damn drugs, right? You tell me 5G, I'm like, what, 5 grams of coke? I don't know, man. Like, 5 grams of what? I don't know. Like 5 grams of what? Or 5G? What is that? I know 4G is a phone. Is 5G a phone? Or it's a cell phone? Okay. So how do we fight against 5G? Oh, I didn't even know there was a 5G radiation cell phone. I didn't know that. You see, man, y'all teaching me something new. You see, Chief don't know everything, right? But how do you stay away from that? Man, listen, you raise your frequency, I guess. You start eating the proper food, so your cells will be able to fight those radiations. You sun gaze, you meditate. You step into your into a higher realm of consciousness. I guess it's the only way to stop it until we're able to have our own governments and let them know, hey, you know what? We are not going to allow all these chemtrails and all this radiations. Now, we're not going to deal with that. But in the meantime, to me, the best way for you to combat those things is for you to eat properly. That's just my thing. Chief, do you have your third eye open? Man, my third eye stays open. All right, it stays open. So absolutely, I call it my first eye. All right. Let me tell you how I know, and that is just my own experience. All right, that is just my own experience. How I know my first eye is open. Whenever it seems like I'm gonna get a download, right? Or there's some information that I need to go into meditation to get, I feel my pineal gland rotating. I feel it pulsating, and it feels like I'm getting a little, like a slight little headache. It's not a headache per se, but it's like it's a discomfort right here. Okay, right here. It feels like I'm getting a little discomfort, and then I could feel it pulsating, and then that's always a clue that I have to calm myself down. All right, or go meditate, quiet my mind, or go to sleep to get the download. So that's how I know. For me, that is the inclination of mind being open. All right. How do you open it? That's a great question. Um, through meditation, a lot of what we call visualization. Okay, you have to visualize that. You have to. What you do is go do some research on pineal gland, which I did earlier. I give a little bit of insight on that. Now, no, go see exactly in a diagram. Go see exactly where it's located in your brain. So now when you're meditating, you want to go through a process of what's called visualization, and visualizing that particular spot, and focus your eyes, your physical eyes in your mind on that one spot. And you could continue to manifest, like, you know what, do affirmations. All right. I am the light of the world. I manifest the light. All right. Stuff like that. Okay. But you're focusing on your pineal gland. But apart from the foods now, not just meditation, also foods. You cannot eat foods that's, well, let's say, people's pineal gland could calcified. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I know certain things like fluoride, okay, will have an effect on your pineal gland. And they have that in certain waters, and they have that in toothpaste, they have that in deodorants and all those things. All right. So you want to stay away from those things. You want to eat more organic as you can, not just places that says organic and give you food with a lot of pesticides. No, you definitely want to make sure that food is organic, but exercise as well, staying as much as physically wealthy as possible. And that's a way of definitely being able to access, you know what I'm saying, or activate your pineal gland. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Absolutely. Detoxing the body is a great thing, because everything that you eat, it goes through your liver. Every single thing. I don't care what it is. It could be an ounce of water. It has to go through the liver, and your liver processes it and creates what you call bile. And some of that bile is used for the body, and a lot of it goes out through excretion, whether it may be sweat, your pee, or your doo doo, whatever. That's what happens. But you definitely have to detox. All right, cleanse out your liver for sure. And I think each and every one of us should do that at least once a month. Do a detox, because man, even if we try to eat as healthy as we can or as wealthy as we can, then you still have certain things in the air that you're inhaling that your liver still has to process. All right. Do you own a well? Well, I personally don't own a well, but we have two wells on the land. So it belongs to, the family on the land, us. All right. So we own two wells, all right, with natural water, no chemicals, no nothing, just natural elements from the earth. And the water is beautiful. Okay. It tastes great. Just so y'all know. Yes, reverse osmosis is also a process that you could do in your home if you don't have a natural well or a natural spring water. So you could get one of the machines, all right, that does that. Okay, reverse osmosis. Just so y'all know. But definitely, we are fortunate to have two natural wells, and it goes 800 feet. into Mother Earth, and we get that what we call the Ozark water, which is considered one of the purest, if not the purest water, the best tasting water in the entire United States. And we have two of those. All right. Hope that answers your question. And I also did one of the videos earlier that I introduced you guys, or I spoke on some superfoods. So you could go ahead and check that. All right. Chlorella, spirulina, moringa. It's just to name a few of those. All right. Bee pollen. And it's a lot of food that you could make shakes and smoothies with. And they're very rich in antioxidants and a lot of other minerals that the body needs. Okay. So right now what I'm doing is I'm making an attempt to limit my eating to once a day. All right. Once a day. And then I'm going to try to do it once every other day until I'm able to sustain myself for a while without eating. All right. So I'm going to practice that. It takes practice. So I'm going to work on that. Is it one of those deep old fashioned wells? Nah, it's not that kind of well. You know, where you have, no, it's how can I describe it? Man, it's just a well. I don't think it's old fashioned on what old fashioned is, no. But definitely the water comes from 800 feet under. I could tell you that much. All right. I could tell you that much. And we have a pump that pumps the water, from underneath, and it brings it up, and we use what we want, and we make it do the do. All right. So are we good, everybody? We good? Because if we good, let me see how long I've been on here. Because like I said, once I come and I deliver the message or I do what I have to do, I just want to be in and out. All right. I don't just do videos just to be on the internet. You feel me? So if we building, if you got questions, let's rock. But other than that, I'm gonna conclude that. It says when the US dollar crashes, hopefully we are unified. This is not a game. We need to stop depending on the. Oh yes, I've been saying that for a very long time, and I tell people, if they want to continue to play these games, that's on them. But this thing is gonna fall, and when it fall, a lot of people are gonna be in situations where they're gonna be hurting, where they can't feed themselves. So I just want to be the example to show people that we need to start making these moves right now, going back to the land and not wait for it to happen. And then you're in a position where you cannot feed yourself. All right, man, that would be a sad thing. So I tell people, be proactive. All right. I think he's asking if it is a hand pump. Oh, that's what he meant by old fashioned. No. It's not a hand pump. No, it's not. No, it's not. We have a pump, a machine, all right, that pumps the water up. Okay, so now it's not the hand pump. No, thanks for clarifying that. But definitely yes, Lamarcus, I agree. We have to start preparing ourselves right now. Okay, right now we cannot wait for things to happen to put things in place. No, we have to start going back to the land right now and start the practice of growing our food, sustaining our own, creating our own electricity, getting our own water, doing all those things. We have to start doing that now. That's why I say it's going to take one individual in every family to start making those moves. All right. To start setting up shop for the family, because they may not see what's coming. But because you are the one that see it, it's your responsibility to set up shop for your family. Okay? Whether they can't see it or not. Eventually, they will be able to be rescued from, the situations that you're going to prepare for them. And that's why that's another reason why I do what I do. So that you guys will be motivated to step up and do it. Don't just talk about it, but do it. All right? Do it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm being the example. All right? Cool. So if we good, man, I'm about to end this. Okay, I know this is kind of abrupt, right? Be like, oh, y'all good? Y'all got the knowledge? All right, I'm out. Nah, man, it's a beautiful evening, and I would love to stay here and talk to you guys all night, but eh, can't do it tonight. You know, can't do it tonight. This is the third video, the third live I've done tonight, and this take a lot of energy. Believe me, it takes a lot of energy going back and forth and doing all this. It does take a lot. All right, so after I do this, I know I'm gonna be tired, so I'm just gonna drink the rest of my soup, and I'm gonna just chill and relax myself. I'm not doing no paperwork. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Big up, big up, big up, Gasa. Big up, Gasa Sakafet. All right. I'm going to just chill. I'm not doing any more paperwork for the night. I know me and my brother was supposed to build in he's in Indiana, and we were supposed to go through some paperwork, but you know what? I'm not gonna do it tonight. I had enough. All right. Peace and love, family. Peace and love. Peace and love. You know what I'm saying? American Aborigines, stand up. All right, stand up. It's our time. Okay. Like I told y'all before, don't be one of those people that get caught up in just the talking and the talking and the talking. I want y'all to do, well, you know what? I don't want y'all to do anything. I'm suggesting that you start doing. Okay. I'm suggesting that you start doing. Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. I'm gonna rest well. You better believe that. Okay. I would suggest that you guys start doing. Okay. Gift yourself. Get your affairs in order. Okay, because I'm going to reiterate, and I cannot stress it enough. It is not going to take a lot of us to turn this around. But if we have at least 50, 60, 100 people in each territory, and we all stand up, remember, let me just do the math real quick, right? You guys are welcome. Let me do the math real quick. See how I'm going to show y'all how we're going to turn this around, because numbers don't lie. I love numbers, right? Let us just say, I got my calculator here, right? Let us just say we have 50 people, and they say they got 48 states, right? They say 50, but they normally they say 48 to be exact, to be politically correct, right? And if we get 50 people, and I'm just saying 50, I mean, I would shoot for 100, but I'm only saying 50. If we get only 50 people, and we're not even trying to get all 48 states, just 50 people in at least 30 states, or even, you know what, forget 30 states, 20 states. Let us do this. 50 times 20, that is 1,000 people. If we could get 1,000 people, 30 people in each state, okay, not what I said, 30 or 50, 50 people in each state, in 30 states, to get the affairs in order and start sending documents to these people, I promise you, we're going to see some changes. And that's only 50 people in only 30 states. So just imagine if we were to get 100 people in 40 states, right? That would be 4,000 people. So brothers and sisters, numbers never lie. The power is in the numbers, and it's not going to take a lot of us. No, it's not. And all I'm doing is, what I'm doing right now, I'm fishing. I'm fishing for those people in those different states. I'm fishing for that 50. And so that's why I always ask people, where you at? All right, set up where you at, man. Set it up, start it off. Don't wait on everybody else. No, you set it off. Get your affairs in order. Let them see that this is real. Let them see that it's real, so that they don't force these real IDs on us. Okay? That's why I'm fishing, man. I'm looking for them. Where they at? They keep talking, yes, we Aborigines, but you could never find them when it's time to put in the work. Never find them to put in the work. Makes me always wonder what's going on. But anyway, I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your continuation. And thank you for the best wishes. I appreciate it. I'll definitely relax myself. Look, I just look at my phone, 2121. 2121. Because I have what you call the 24-hour time on my clock on my phone. 2121. How do we go about getting land? Well, I put it this way. Affairs in order first. You see, everybody always want to jump the gun. There is always progression to this. All right. It's not just going to happen by a click of a finger. Get your affairs in order first. Then we'll discuss getting land. All right. Get your affairs in order. We have to get our affairs in order. All right, family. So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Be good to each other. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. Now, if you like treating yourself like shit, then do me a favor. Please do not practice that. Okay? Do not practice treating others the way you want to be treated because you like to be treated like shit. That means something is emphatically wrong with you. All right? So, if you are righteous, okay, and if you are of sound mind, let me rephrase that. All right? Because I know some people are messed up. All right? And it may not be any fault of their own. But if you are competent, all right? If you have integrity, if you are righteous, then treat others the way you would like to be treated. All right? Practice that. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. All right? Because I'm here talking about, hey, you know what? Treat others the way you want to be treated. And some people treat themselves badly. And you're only going to do what you know. So I have to rephrase that. Okay? I have to rephrase that. Got to be very mindful of the words that we speak. All right? So, and brothers and sisters, here's another thing before I go. Man, wherever you go, man, represent who you are. You know, rock your feathers. Rock your indigenous attire. You see, a lot of us around here talking about we indigenous, we aborigines, but when you see them in the streets, you just see another black person or another African American. You cannot tell a difference. Okay? One thing with me, whenever you see me in the streets, you know that this brother ain't regular. Okay? For real. No man is an island. That is what's up. You're absolutely right. No one man is an island. And that's why I tell people I never claim to be that. That's why I want to link with my brothers and sisters who are on the same frequency and put in the work. Enough of the talking, put in the work. Okay? Put in the work. Let us step. That's it. Okay? So always wear your indigenous attire wherever you go. I don't care if it's 2 feathers in your hair. Man, do it. Okay? Do it. Because it sends a message. It does. It does send a message. It does. At least with me. I gotta say that I've been fortunate. And I don't think it's just the headpieces or just the feathers. I think it's an energy. It's an energy when I travel and I walk. I have a certain energy about me when I have my crown, when I have my feathers. And I've always had that confidence, but you know, when I stepped into my indigenous identity, it just took my confidence to a whole different level. It feels like I'm untouchable. You know, I feel like Superman, like and without kryptonite. You know what I mean? That is the feeling that I feel. And it's a beautiful feeling. So get in the habit of wearing your feathers, wearing your crowns. Okay? It does make a statement. It really does. And that's a brilliant way of honoring our ancestors. Okay? All right. So anyway, man. Woo! One love, Tanisha. We good, Chief. Good. Good night, bro. Love. Of course, it's always love. It's always love. Okay? So you guys enjoy the rest of the night, and we will talk soon. Peace, love, harmony, and light. I'm out.